The Stars are out for the second edition of the Stampede Bowl. Vernon Adams and Diedrich Mills looking to lift Calgary to their second win of the season. But Chad Kelly and the Toronto Argonauts would like nothing more than to spoil the party in Calgary tonight. It's Toronto and Calgary kicking off Canada Day weekend in the CFL. Kick things off, Enoch Mwamba.
Yahoo!
It is the eve of the Stampede in Calgary, and that means now the annual Stampede Bowl, one of the best nights on the CFL calendar. Both of these teams coming off impressive victories. Stampeders picking up their first win of the season in Kelowna, while the Argonauts handing the Saskatchewan Roughriders their first loss of the season. We are set. The fans are set. It's a tremendous night. We got a great game. We have unbelievable entertainment at halftime as well, and we have the one and only Milt Stegall racing the world's fastest cow. It is Enoch. It is Davis Sanchez. It is Milt. You got to win. You've been talking a lot for one whole year, Milt, and we expect nothing but winning tonight.
Yes.
And it'd be interesting to see this game because we could argue both teams. I mean, we could look at the Argos and Chad Kelly in that offense and then flip to the Calgary Stampeders getting healthy in that defense, how good they've been. But Enoch, give me someone that you're watching out for this game tonight.
I'm looking at Ralph Hawley, Kay. Ralph Hawley on this defense for the Toronto Argonauts. This is the best run defense in the league. They have to show up tonight because Diedrich Mills is a focal point for this offense. If they're able to get going with Diedrich Mills, it's going to be a long night. So they got to be able to stop him, and Ralph Hawley is the key to that.
I'm looking at Argos receiver Coxie. I think that in this matchup, they're going to have to win some one-on-one battles. And Coxie is that guy to win for Chad. So I think Coxie is the key for this game.
I'm looking at both returners, of course, and Grant and McAllister, but I really got my eyes on Jalen Philpott. You know why? Who's the #1 receiver in the CFL right now?
Brother.
Tyson. So those guys, they cheer for each other, but they also compete against each other. And I guarantee you, Jalen wants to outdo his brother because his brother's been balling, so I'm looking for him to have a big game.
Do you know what I love, too? I mean, it was the confidence. When he scored that touchdown, and we were right beside that end zone,
yeah.
I mean, just all of a sudden, you could see almost the weight lifted off his shoulders. We spoke about this a little bit in the pregame, but how concerned are we with the offensive line of the Toronto Argonauts tonight and the holes there with injury?
Really concerned. If these Calgary Stampeders can get pressure with 4, it's going to be a long night because you can't continue doing 3-step drops. You'll be getting second and long where you're going to have to drop back and do something. If they can't protect Chad Kelly early, it could be a long night for these Toronto Argonauts.
Yeah, they're going to need to have some diversity in their play calling, more than they've had all season long. Like today, I'm really looking forward to seeing a little bit more running game from that offense and sprinkle in, like I mentioned earlier, some screens as well, Davis.
Yeah, look for Coach Mike Miller to move the pocket a little bit as well. Try to change the launch point for Toronto because that'll be key for that interior. That's another way that you run the ball and also move the launch point to get that, keep that defensive line off balance.
Do you know what I've found interesting? We haven't talked a lot about Diedrich Mills. I feel like every time we have the Calgary Stampeders game, but is that strictly because of the Argos run defense?
The run defense for sure. They have to be able to put their foot down and stop the running game. Vernon Adams, you want to put the pressure for them. If you're the Argos, make them one-dimensional, force Vernon Adams to have to throw all night long. And these guys, I was talking to the DBs in Toronto, they're excited about having hands on football.
Well, you know what?
tonight.
We're excited to be here. Another edition of the Stampede Bowl. Let's get you down to the field for O Canada.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free, from far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land. Thank you. Thank you.
It is Canada Day weekend in the CFL. We are ready. The fans are ready. The players are set to go. Kickoff from Calgary with Lapo and Marshall Ferguson is next.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Calgary as the world-famous Stampede kicks off with the second rendition of the high-energy Stampede Bowl as Chad Kelly and the red-hot double blue Argos look to spoil the Western celebration. Marshall Ferguson alongside Paul Lapalese, Britt Dort here with us as well as always. And they say when you're taking your dog for a walk this summer, Lapo, you should look out for ticks. But there's been an outbreak of hicks in behind us here. We got two good ones on the different sides of the football.
Yeah, there's two really great players. Let's start with this one right here. Clarence Hicks, tied for first in the CFL with 3 sacks. Can he get the pressure needed to slow down this offense? And the other side of the football, after Clarence Hicks and the Toronto Argonauts, we got Samuel Hicks. Samuel Hicks is a outstanding running. Remember, last year, the Argos couldn't run the ball. Only 51 yards per game, almost 98 yards per game right now. Really good stuff by Samuel Hicks.
Head coach Mike Miller of the Toronto Argonauts said he brought in guys who could be more physical, loves the idea of Ralph Hawley being a poster child for that part of their program, and Dave Dickinson, short week, real short week.
Real short
trying
week.
to figure out exactly how to review the points of emphasis and try to double down on some of the positives that came out of the victory against the BC Lions as we settle in to kick off week number 5 of the Canadian Football League. Thanks for being here with us. And it will drop down to Janarian Grant, who drops it himself at the 20-yard line before he's pushed into bounds on a 6, maybe 7-yard return. And out comes the absolutely on fire Chad Kelly, on pace for a ridiculous amount of yards here this season.
Yeah, and in 3 games this season, 1,190 yards. He's 7 short of franchise best ever by Ricky Ray in 2017, and this is a player that the players love, believe in, expect to win every game he steps out there.
For Lauren Arimalade in the lineup again, as of last week, said basically just Chad makes them believe at all points because he'll throw it anywhere on the field at any time. He begins off balance by completing it to the outside, and a small gain looks like goes to DeMonte Coxie on the play as we get a look at the rest of the Argonauts starting offense.
So a couple of changes with changes in the second. Peter Nicastro starts at right guard, and then our first start for Nick Piazza, and then Kevin Mattel has been unbelievable this season. The deep ball, second deep ball player in this system that they need, along with DeMonte Coxie.
That with Dakota Shepley out of the lineup at right guard, so a shuffling up the deck after a back injury to the NFL veteran. Shepley, his flags fly here on second down. Kelly looks down the field and wants to rip it. Throws it up for grabs. Tyler Common is down there. And did he hang on to it? No, it looks like Calgary ripped it away, but we'll sort out the penalty flag in the backfield first. Damon Webb has the rock for now.
Usually when the quarterback leaves the pocket, you're going to get some type of holding call because the offensive lineman not sure where he is. We'll see what this penalty is. Damon Webb going up and high pointing that interception. Great play.
Chad Kelly leading the CFL in number of points at different receivers when he breaks the pocket. That's an unofficial statistic, but as soon as he breaks the pocket, he's trying to find anybody he possibly can.
There's 2 penalties on the play, holding Toronto 61, illegal contact on the receiver. Calgary 35. We'll replay second down.
So Brandon Kemp has the penalty go against him, and Delaney Robinson, the undrafted young Canadian, on the corner as well, and so it will remain Toronto possession.
Yeah, very difficult penalty there for Delaney Robinson, in playing for an injured Adrian Green. Getting the start this year out of Regina, 6'3", 194-pounder.
Getting the start over Benjamin LaBrosse as well. He's the former 4th overall pick for the Stampeders, as Kelly already has to break the pocket twice and still stays looking down the field. This one sails high over the head of Common, incomplete. And it will be a 2-and-out officially after the penalty exchange back and forth. And so the punting unit with Haggerty hits the field early on for the Argonauts.
And that's Chad Kelly's going to do that. He's going to, when he escapes the pocket and uses his legs, he's trying to find the deep ball throw downfield. Got the deepest throws downfield in the Canadian Football League. 26 times they've thrown it downfield greater than 20 yards.
Haggerty, the outstanding special teams player, knocks this one 61 yards down the field, and always dangerous is Tyreek McAllister, who's breaking free, runs back across Haggerty, but finally wrapped up and brought down after a long return And a 43-yard return. It looks like it was Jeremiah Ojo who finally fought back in, but McAllister down on the turf after that massive return.
Good bounce outside, good block on the perimeter, but you have to have lower body strength, and you see the lower body strength breaking the tackle right there. That's all you need to get those huge gains. You want returners who just don't get touched and then fall down. Great lower body strength. See how healthy he is now. We're talking about a guy who's had 2 return touchdowns in 2 previous weeks.
He's been sensational for them, but obviously very slow moving right now. Had a 90-yard punt return touchdown 1 week after returning a missed field goal, 120 yards for a touchdown. But McAllister, worse for wear. We will step aside and return to Calgary.
Marie Scott of Edmonton, Alberta. This is your chance to win big. Thanks to Save on Foods. $1 million touchdown to win. If the kickoff is returned for a touchdown, you could win groceries for a year. If 2 kickoffs are returned for touchdowns, you could also win $1 million. Good luck, Marie.
As Tyreek McAllister makes his way to the sidelines there. First back-to-back weeks that the Calgary Stampeders have had a return touchdown since Roy Finch back in 2017 when he did it in late July, early August. And his solid return of 43 yards flips the field for this man, Vernon Adams Jr.
And Dave Dickinson talking this week, the thing that puts a smile on his face, 0 interceptions.
Yeah.
One of just only 2 players left in this CFL not throwing interceptions.
VA digs in already on Toronto's side of the field and gets popped on the first play. Right away off the edge. It's Andrew Chatfield Jr. that got the hit in on him, but the Calgary Stampeders offense looks like this.
Bakeen Coley gets the start, right tackle, after William Barnes is getting benched for not playing well enough. 12 starts at Purdue. And Dedrick Mills, the offense goes through this football player, right? How can they get him involved? He had 4 catches last week for 46 yards. He had his first career touchdown last week, but they got to get some run game going against this toughest run defense in the Canadian Football League.
Yeah, he'll be tested immediately here with the short yardage package in. Vernon Adams Jr. to the sideline after a gain of 9.5. And so the Stampeders plunge to the left-hand side, pick up the first down. Lowest net yards last week, but it came in their first win. And as you said, with Vernon getting popped on that first play, he stands in, he's tough, and he makes throws like this pretty consistently, which is what Dave Dickinson loves to see. But you don't love to see your quarterback getting rocked like that.
Andrew Chatfield's recovering, sees the zone read, recovers, gives a great shot. Great throw by Vernon to get, know you got pressure, I'm about to get hit, but still have the arm angle to move the football and get that completion.
Almost wonder if VA didn't predetermine he was pulling it and then go, yikes, first play.
Wrong recovery when the end collapses and the recovers that fast.
Absolutely. So Adams Jr. looks right, quick release, on target, and down the sideline. It's the leading receiver for the Calgary Stampeders. That is Brooks, making more and more plays with every opportunity he gets. This time, it's Eric Brooks for 24.
Yeah, good throw out to the outside. Sees Brooks, no defender outside him, just puts it on him, locates the football, get a nice first down on first down. We'll start with the pass game to start. Loosen up before they get Dedrick Mills going.
Classic example of a guy that's a returner too, right, Lapo? And then just works his way in as a receiver more and more. Definitely proving the opportunity correct. As the Argonauts on their heels immediately, Cam Judge rolls backwards into free safety position, and they'll run it right down the rail. And the Toronto defense stands tall on first down as we look at their starting lineup.
I keep talking about the best run defense in the league. It's because of this guy, Ralph Hawley. He's an immovable object in the middle of the line. And then Darius Pickett tied for first in the CFL with 4 special teams tackles and is a dude at linebacker. All right, and James Caesar, rookie out of Southern Illinois, first in the team with defensive tackles, 16. He leads the CFL in 5 knockdowns. Looked really good on film last couple weeks.
Vernon on second down, quick throw, touchdown! Opening up the Stampede Bowl, it goes to Jalen Philpott for the major. And what do they got cooked up here? It was a little celebration. Oh, there we go, little line dance from the boys in red and white for the home crowd.
A little bit of pressure, good pickup, get the ball out of your hands early. Easy throw to Jalen Philpott.
We just finished a game on Sunday night, the end of week 4, where we had a Philpott going crazy. Why not kick off week 5 on Thursday night with twin brother Jalen? into the end zone. Tyson will be loving that. And the Stampeders fans happy to have a 5-play drive that ends with a quick strike from Vernon Adams Jr. to Jalen Philpott in the early 7-0 lead.
Touchdown right there for Jalen Philpott. Nice, easy, quick throw. But how did this drive start? Tyreek McAllister once again getting a huge return. Breaks a tackle right there. Gets the extra yards to flip the field for a short field. Quick throw outside to Eric Brooks for a big gain. One run play, but then this one. Nice, easy throw underneath. Deshaun Amos is too far off. Gives the easy throw right into the end zone versus the pressure. Good execution. Good start for the Stampeders.
Well, too easy, you gotta say, on that first drive for the Calgary Stampeders offensively as Janarian Grant has this one go backwards into the end zone. Lets it roll and then will take the point for Calgary, so they tag another extra on the kickoff here as Chad Kelly looking to create some instant offense, already trailing by 8.
Not an issue for these guys. Like, the interesting thing, I really think for this, for this football team is, how does the run game factor in with Toronto? Like, Toronto's got some changes the offensive line, like you talked about. Can they continue to? They've done a lot of good things with Sam Hicks getting the ball. Last week he had a 61-yard run, second play of the game.
They fake the inside run here and throw a slant. Looks like Dave Ungerer on the receiving end. That'll be a gain of 9 as short yardage likely upcoming for this Calgary defense to try and shut down Toronto.
Jalen Hutchins is another huge body on the inside. He's been so impressive, had a sack last week. Derek Moncrief, he's going to have to go against Kevin Mattal today at that nickel spot, watching to see what happens. Couple injuries on the outside. Benny Sapp gets his first start this week, and Delaney Robinson says we already started, gets the start on the outside. So with Jaden Grant being injured, Benny Sapp steps in, just got in here last week, was with the Saskatchewan Roughriders last season. So 2 changes on the right side of that secondary.
And keep in mind in this short yardage, as they hand it off inside and flags fly on the snap.
Time count violation.
Wow, yeah, slow getting
Toronto
it in.
number 4. It's a 5-yard penalty. Will replay second down.
Seemed like the personnel package was very slow getting off the sideline as we were talking through the Calgary defense there.
And with the play clock changes, you've seen a couple of those this season with the teams trying to sort that out. And again, you got to get your personnel in if you want to do that short yardage quarterback sneak. You want the big bodies in to help protect the edges for the quarterbacks. You just got to do it a little faster.
Back it up 5, 2nd and 6. Chad Kelly back on the field with the base offense, as the Argonauts have had 30-plus points in each of their first 3 games. Kelly pumps, look to check it down, and now sidearms it. DeMonte Coxie running free at the 50 and across the 45. It's a first down for the double blue. A familiar connection from Kelly to Coxie for 24.
When Chad came back, I said the thing that's going to help this offense the most is Chad's ability to use his legs. No contain on the outside. He just walks away and it says, listen, your coverage is not going to hold up long enough.
Argos go quickly. Mackay Polk on the receiving end this time. Up near the first down marker, and Polk in some discomfort as well after taking the hit at the end of that one. Gain of 9.
The teams that have quarterbacks who can move are the teams that can really break down coverages. Defensive coordinators hate the quarterbacks who are going to start moving around, and then at opens, you cannot hold up coverage all game or for 6-7 seconds. You have to be able to put yourself in a position to be able to hold up as long as you can. Here's Polk right here getting hit by Alexander.
Timeout. Toronto.
And again, in short yardage, it looks like the Argonauts a little bit of indecision on the sideline.
So using their first timeout, that's a difficult mistake. They just didn't want to get another 2nd and 6 here. Now they're running in different personnel group to do their short yardage. Whether they didn't know he was 2nd and 1, where they're unsure what package they wanted to be in, or they had to get that timeout.
This is a little bit symptomatic of the Argonauts in this early season, especially the game they had against the Ottawa Redblacks, where they were throwing it up and down the field at will, but also throwing turnovers and fumbling and all the rest. It's a bit of a chaotic experience at times with Toronto offensively, right, Lapo? They have so much potential. They're so explosive, but sometimes the basic stuff is just what Mike Miller wants.
Yeah, get there. He wants more physicality out of this unit.
Nick Arbuckle into the ball game. They handed it off to Isaiah Smith, the young running back out of Guelph. On the last short yards, they got flagged down for the time count, but this time it's just Nick Arbuckle going forward, and it will be the Argonauts going forward against a couple of tough opponents from the West Winnipeg and the 0-3 BC Lions trying to get themselves back on track. And of course, the early season matchup with the Ticats always central.
Yes, 7 games on the road. Now, I have a home game here at Saskatchewan. That was their home game in a win, but it's been, they're practicing at Guelph. They're doing that all the way through the World Cup.
Living life on the road. And Kelly has been thrown for plenty of yardage as he completes another one to Dave Unger, just short of the sticks.
Now, when you talk to some of the players and coaches, they actually really like Guelph. There's not a lot of traffic. They get to spend a lot of time together. Nobody's trying to leave early to beat traffic to go home. So there's a lot of guys around the facility. They're getting a lot of work together. And you talk to the coaches. They said it's been. We know we got a bunch of road games, but really enjoying being together in Guelph.
It's a lovely town.
Lovely.
You ever been to Aramosa? You can go to Puslin. There's all sorts of great spots around Guelph to go hang out with the boys. After practice is done, as Chad Kelly rolls to his left, another pass completed. And it is good for a first down. Sam Hicks out of the backfield, but you get the sense that Kelly's mental clock a little bit quicker here today with Dakota Shepley out of the lineup and a shuffling of the offensive line.
Yeah, I just love the ability. Like Sam Hicks out of the backfield right here. He goes up, breaks out to the sideline, you just put Marquel Lee in a position where he just can't make the play because he's inside position. Nice, easy throw by Chad.
Into the score zone, the Argonauts go for the first time on a long drawn-out drive as Kelly rifles this one right to the sticks. Dave Unger makes the grab, and it looks like it should be spotted just in enough to create a goal-to-go situation as Ben Major, our referee, takes a good look at it.
Stampeders got to find a way to, the ends can't give up contain. There's been too many in these 2 drives where there's no contain on the defensive ends. So allows Chad to get outside and find Unger.
And they'll say the football was just shy of the marker, so second and short. And they decide this time to not mess around with the short yardage package, just leave Chad Kelly in the ball game. Bunch set to his left as Kelly looks right, rifles it, Mackay Polk. Touchdown Argonauts. What a great grab and seamless read from Chad Kelly. Pitch and catch for 6.
Great recognition, understanding, hey, Mackay Polk's defender is 12 yards off, just like on the previous touchdown for the Calgary Stampede with Jalen Philpott. Let's just take this throw to Mackay Polk. Easy throw just inside the sticks. If the defenders want to play in the back of the end zone, let them play in the back of the end zone. We're just going to throw to the front pile, at the front of the end zone.
Chad Kelly's hot start continues as he leads a long touchdown drive. 9 plays, 70 yards in 4.5 minutes, and a perfect answer to the Vernon Adams Jr. touchdown pass to Jalen Philpott. Looking left the whole way, comes back Mackay Polk. A little in behind, but wonderful adjusting to the football. 1-point ball game here in Calgary.
Chad Kelly using his legs as pressure shows up. You got some new players in the interior offensive line, but for the Calgary Stampeders, they better start playing contained because they're just given an opportunity for him to go outside and hit all his receivers downfield as he walks away every time to his left. And all of a sudden he puts himself in a position like, hey, you guys got to give me a little bit more opportunities. And you can see, gets it close, then the easy throw to Mackay Polk. So there's got to be better contained by the Calgary Stampeders front. Don't allow this guy to take shots downfield. Don't allow him to stay on the football field and keep making plays with his legs.
Great to see Tyreek McAllister back on the field. Looked like he might have just been winded on the big punt return that he had earlier as he was down injured. This time he runs into a crowd. Good coverage from the Toronto Argonauts coverage units led by special teams coordinator Mickey Donovan as Vernon Adams Jr. returns to the field here after a smooth start. 3 for 3, 40 yards and a touchdown already on the board for VA.
big part of this game is obviously Calgary's first in the Canadian Football League in protecting the football. Well, the Toronto Argonauts got the most takeaways in the CFL. That's a huge thing. What's going to happen today? Can VA continue to protect it, or is this Argonaut defense that's got 7 takeaways already this season, can they steal it and get their offense back on the field?
Inside handoff, Dedrick Mills, the workhorse for the Stampeders, will pick up the gain of 3 yards on the play. 2nd and 7 upcoming.
You're gonna have to make sure you can see the fewest turnovers right here. We were just talking about Calgary had just 1 and 0 interceptions. So that's how this model, they want to win here in Calgary. Protect the football, run the football, and when VA has to make some throws, make those throws. But it goes through running the football and protecting it.
Only one team out of 14 this season have had more turnovers than one. It was Saskatchewan against Calgary earlier on this year. Now pressure is on, and Vernon throwing backwards and brought down Andrew Chatfield Jr. Hot start to 2025 and cooled off down the stretch, but he's trying to fire things up again. His 2nd of the season.
Chatfield right here, you're going to see him coming up field. Little bit of a speed rush that then just bounces inside to a twist. Left guard is in a good position. Zach Williams misses the twist, gives Chatfield that easy lane to rush the quarterback, get the sack.
Sometimes this week he told us that he's a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. He's put the work in, but still feels as though he has the speed to get to the quarterback, certainly proving it right there as a late substitution for the Stampeders special teams unit. A little bit discombobulated. And now Janarian Grant will touch it after a 47-yard punt. And again, the coverage right there on the spot. And great work by Thomas from the Okanagan Sun CJFL product. Makes the special teams tackle is Andrew Chatfield Jr. Leading the rush up front, VA with a 2-and-out. Plenty of festive fans in the stands here as we send it down to Britt Dorr for more on the 2nd rendition of the Stampede Bowl.
Of course, kicking off the greatest outdoor show on earth, the Calgary Stampede. That is going to kick off tomorrow. 2nd annual Calgary Stampede Bowl. This has been dubbed the greatest show on turf, if you will. A trophy on the line, which players said it could just be another regular season game, but once you put a trophy into it, we have to win. Of course, they won in dramatic fashion last year. It was a great game. The guys talked about that being one of the funnest games they've ever played in their entire careers. Now, of course, we had to ask head coach Mike Miller of the Toronto Argonauts, have you ever talked about the Calgary Stampede in your lifetime, ever been to it? He said, well, when I was 14 in 1984, my grandparents took me on a road trip across Canada, as well as the Western U.S., and where did we stop? Well, none other than the Calgary Stampede. Talked great things about it. Of course, the guys, they're very excited. They arrived in their Western wear today, and of course, you saw it, that first touchdown celebration. They had a little bit of a Stampede feel to it.
Yeah, it was wonderful. Thank you, Brad. His completion here from Chad Kelly. Mackay Polk fighting through tacklers, but yeah, you can feel the energy in the pregame warm-ups a little bit different. These two teams, obviously plenty of connections in a 9-team league going after it, but you knew that they were going to set the tone early on, and plenty of physicality, especially from the Toronto receivers getting out.
Quick checkdowns once again on the backside of their run game. And that's what Flower Elimelade said this week. He's like, we have to be better on first down. We have to manage Chad Kelly. He's gonna fake a run play and then flip it out to the wideouts. We've got to make sure our eyes are right and we can handle this RPO system and put ourselves in a position that we don't create first downs on first down, which, you know, Toronto is moving the ball very well at this point right now.
By the way, as we see Delaney Robinson making his way to the sideline, so they'll shuffle the back end of that Calgary defense. But Falarna Rimolade, when we asked him about kind of the weird Canadian things here on Canada Day weekend after all the fireworks went off last night, he said, Calgary traffic drives me insane. No wonder he left Toronto in free agency, coming back to the same. If Calgary traffic drives you crazy, Flo, I don't know, man. He said ketchup chips.
Ketchup chips, yeah.
Sour cream glazed donuts. He's a big fan of those. As Kelly looks over the top into double coverage. One hand ripped out of the sky. What an interception. It's Alexander plucked it out of the Stampede Bowl air.
We we do know Chad Kelly's got some of the deepest passes all season, the deepest touchdowns, deepest throws. He's also got the most interceptions. So he is going to throw it up when he sees something. He just gets a little pressured, and then he tries to throw it between two players, and that's about as good as an interception you'll ever see. Look at Cy Anderson making that play. Unbelievable.
Take a bow.
Had an interception last week. LSU first-year player. Spectacular interception.
And maybe gives the offense some much-needed momentum here as it is complete to the outside. Vernon Adams Jr. slings it quickly to Jalen Philpott. They're obviously on the same page here. Jalen said he was begging to get a Stampede Bowl with a gain of 20 here to start this drive off.
Real easy picture. You can see this and out. So all you're doing is taking the inside route. If the corner drops down like he does, just throw the out cut. You're in good position to make the play. Philpott, good catch on the sideline.
Vernon hands it off. Dedrick Mills turns his way across the 55-yard line. Solid pickup on first down. That's not groundbreaking news for the Calgary Stampeders when they go to the ground game on first down. It is consistent returns on investment.
Cameron Judge with a good, I was talking about this linebacker crew. Cameron Judge, Isaac Darkangelo, Darius Pickett. Those are three really good linebackers. That is part of why this team is so good against stopping the run. Cameron Judge continuing to play at such a high level.
Vernon's got eyes into the boundary to his left. Hard count. Looks like he might have got Toronto to jump offside. A little slant underneath, incomplete. Intended for Tevin Jones. And I think the Stampeders will get some free yardage on this one.
Benji Franklin with a nice play on that.
We have offside against Toronto. It's a 5-yard penalty. It's still second down.
It's going to happen right here. You can see right here. Well, oh,
it looks like
Paris Shand. No, it's Paris Shand out of LSU. Really good draft pick last year, the Toronto Argonauts.
Quincy Vaughn comes in for short yardage on second and short. As Vernon Adams Jr. win number 50 against the BC Lions. He's 50-30 in his career. And 4-5 against these Toronto Argonauts, but 0-1 against one Chad Kelly. Not many experiences of them, of course, due to Chad Kelly with the major injury that made him miss all of last season.
Continuing to see how, a lot of passes early in this first quarter, trying to loosen up this defense, mix in some runs.
Run fake. Adams looks to the backside, and it's one-on-one. Clark Barnes makes the catch in front of Benji Franklin. They got the isolation, and Clark Barnes went to work here, Lapo.
Great play action fake. You have max protection. You're looking downfield for the deep throw. You can see him, Vernon, start to look downfield, but there's nothing downfield. So then he goes to his outlet on the outside, which is the deep outside corner to Clark Barnes. Great throw. Great location for that. You want to get explosive plays, nice safe plays.
Gain of 18 yards for the red and white here at home in the Stampede Bowl. Adams Jr. looks to the far left, comes back underneath, incomplete. And the Argonauts defense all over that one. The first incompletion of the ball game for Vernon Adams Jr. comes at the end of the first quarter. Entertaining one, back and forth. A memorable interception by Cy Alexander. Chad Kelly with a touchdown pass to Makai Polk, and Vernon Adams Jr. trying to follow up a big win against his old team, the BC Lions, with a home victory here in the Stampede Bowl. The numbers of after one quarter of play here in Calgary, the Stampede Bowl, and for Dave Dickinson and the Calgary Stampeders, when you get a victory, Paul Lapalisse, you want to be able to take the positives out of the film and basically give them back to your team and say, these are the things we have been preaching since training camp. When you're doing that on a short week, it's not the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah, and let's explain what a short week is. They got home, they played Saturday night, they got home at 1 in the morning on Sunday. You got to give the players Sunday off. They have a walkthrough on Monday, and then they have one practice on Tuesday, and then it's the day before the game. So they are behind the 8 ball. They don't get enough practice. Normally you get 3 days of practice to prepare for an opponent. Now who's coming in? The Toronto Argonauts, who had one more day to prepare than you. But also 2 brand new an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, new systems. They haven't played this team before, and John Huffnagel's in the building. So it's a lot harder for you to try to figure out what's happening on a short week, and real difficult.
I think Milt Stegall might have just gotten beat by the Cap. I don't know.
We'll see that. Yeah. So for Mike Miller, the biggest thing he's got to make sure he's doing is, like, it was interesting talking to him with his team coming out here. I had a long talk with him about the relationship with John Huffnagel, and he said some really good things about Huffnagel. It's just like 2 guys from Pittsburgh, because they're both from Pittsburgh. I've had the opportunity to be able to talk to one of the greats in the CFL on a weekly basis, on a daily basis. Game planning after practice was with him for training camp. Mike Miller just talked how great it was to have John Huffnagel with him and helping him as as a first-time head coach, I would say.
And classy of the Calgary Stampeders, of course, to honor Huff as well in that first quarter, as now Viego's hard count, and the finger pointing begins back and forth.
Yep, little double cadence, a little bit of motion with the double cadence to try to get defenders moved. Then the offensive lineman's going to step back. So yeah, I was talking to Mike Miller about that, like, just the fact that Huffnagel's seen so many situations.
2 penalties on the play. Procedure, Calgary, number 55. Player misconduct, number 91, Toronto. We'll go up 5 yards, and we'll replay second down.
And the misconduct being pointing and trying to convince the officials that there was
I'm
penalty
not
on the
sure
other
what
side.
that was. Right. Yeah, so as we continue to talk about Coach Miller, the draft, Huffnagel was helping with the draft, was all over training camp, and just a sounding board for him on a daily basis.
Isaac Darkangelo making the calls in the middle of that Argonauts defense as Vernon Adams Jr. goes to the left-hand side to Jean Brissett, the former Argonaut, leaps to the end zone. Touchdown Stampeders. A gain of 20 and a major for the ex-Argo.
Jean Brissett on the outside, corner lifts. Vernon sees it immediately, gets the throw out to Brissett. Benji Franklin misses the tackle. Jean Brissett is able to move it in for the touchdown. Great start, and having him in the building. You hear so many players say, he's already been in our system. He knows the system. This Toronto system is the same as the Calgary spot.
So Jean Brissett said he wanted to get more involved in the running game, but they might have to mix him in a heck of a lot more through the air if he's going to be able to break away from tackles like this. As VA in rhythm gets it into his hands, and no chance there for Benji Franklin as the big body Brissett, former 2nd overall pick out of the University of Virginia, made easy work of finding the end zone.
Yeah, obviously he had a career year last year with the Toronto Argonauts, was a great player to bring back into the building. And I interviewed Jalen Philpott a couple weeks ago. He just said it's great to have Dejan as a veteran guy with 6 years, as you said, in the building to help us and help grow this receiver room.
And he knows big games as well, rivalry games, you know, Stampede Bowl, these kind of moments, because I asked him about the big Labor Day catch he made for the Toronto Argonauts against Hamilton last year.
Last play of the game,
right?
Yeah.
Crazy, and he said, yeah, the big smile kind of came across his face, and then he started saying, sometimes I see it on social media, and you know, whenever I'm watching television, it pops up, and I get these nice memories of my great times in Toronto, but he is loving his time early on here in Calgary, fully accepted by the locker room as a veteran leader, bit of a different role for him that he's grown into from his time the last couple of years in the CFL, but certainly embracing it at this point. 7 plays, 76 yards, 3.5 minutes. And once again, the Toronto Argonauts are chasing 15-7. The Stampeders lead as Isaiah Smith catches that one that was squibbed right down the middle away from Janarian Grant. Don't want nothing to do with that guy.
A little bit of sometimes you don't have faith. The return guy, the guys on kickoff are going to be mad, especially teams coordinator Mickey Vaughn. I want you to kick to him, and we're going to go tackle him. Is some of those guys in a meeting going to say, give us a chance to go tackle that great player?
And this is where Isaiah Smith and Janarian Grant start talking it over and going, okay, if they do that again, you want to do the old lateral thing? Like, you want to get it in my hands no matter what? Let's figure this out. If that's their approach, we'll see how the Argonauts handle that going forward as Kelly hands it off to the outside. It is Hicks, and a wall of Stampeders defenders are there. Derek Moncrief finishes it off. Markel Lee right there as well, the middle linebacker swarming to the football.
You have all these players here trying to help, but the penetration is what gets you on the outside. As you try to bounce it out here, you're just not in a position to make the play. Markel Lee's right there, knock the backfield, a loss in the backfield to make it a 2nd and 14.
Kelly digs in with 4 receivers to his right. Chad stands in and too long. Down he goes. And was it Hutchings or Peterson that got there first? Looks like Peterson, the 2nd-year CFLer out of the University of Central Florida.
This is what Calgary talked about. We've got to get some pressure to slow down Chad Kelly. We've got to push it. You see Flo denting the pocket, and then all of a sudden you get a lot of pressure on the inside. Miles Brown is in there. Jalen Hutchins is in there. Great push by the interior defensive line for the sack.
This ball takes a hop on the punt, 56 yards from Haggerty, and a quick but efficient return out to the 45-yard line for the Stampeders. But it is a successful defensive possession once again. Sean Peterson Jr. making plays here in the Stampede Bowl. Jalen Philpott there in control early on, as is Vernon Adams Jr. Extremely efficient so far, and it's wild to think that, well, this might be the lesser, I guess, of the Philpott twins at this. When you see the growth of Jalen Philpott, this should be the trajectory that they're both on, but Tyson's been going crazy as of late. Jalen's still very, very impressive.
Yeah, 2nd TD of the season tonight. Tyson had 198 on Sunday night. Was amazing watching that happen in Montreal. 2 great players, 2 great young players in our league.
It feels like 2 guys that could have gone to any team in the draft and still been successful. They have found their respective fits in both Montreal and Calgary. As inside handoff doesn't go for much. That Argonauts defense up front doing their job early on against Dedrick Mills and Andrew Chatfield Jr. He had the sack earlier, but he told us they take pride in that run game.
Well, you can see the way this game is being called right now. You can see what's happening for this football team. Owen Goss makes a play on this to stop this run, but they're throwing the football. They're not trying to run the football. They want the ball in Vernon's hands because they respect this run game so much.
Quickly to the line of scrimmage are the Stampeders as usual. Off the back foot, right down the pipe. Tevin Jones makes the grab. VA under pressure as he's been so much of this early season. 34 hurries allowed by Calgary coming in, but Vernon connecting for 30 yards on that one.
James Caesar, you're going to see on this play. It's very hard sometimes with the motion of the Canadian Football League. So as Tevin Jones motions across the field, James Caesar just gets out of position, then gives up the post play for a huge gain. And then that's some of the things the young corners have to, and halfbacks have to understand about the motion in the Canadian Football League.
Fake on the jet sweep here as VA rolls to the right, goes crossbody, high and away. Incomplete for Clark Barnes. That's the type of catch we're used to seeing Reggie Beggleton make across the middle in this Stampeders passing game, but still out and injured after a broken leg suffered last year in week 2 against these Argonauts.
Just missed a little high on this. This is a boot to the wide side of the field. Everybody's covered, but not the backside. Barnes is there. It's just a little high. You'd like to Barnes help pick that, your quarterback up when it's not located. There you see Reggie Beggleton. They say it was very close to returning.
Yeah, hope to see him back. Did practice this week, starting to ramp up. The 3-time All-CFLer with over 5,600 career yards and 28 touchdowns. They need that dearly as Eric Brooks really got his first opportunity as he fights for the first down yardage when Reggie Beggleton went down. That's what opened the door for 87 to have an opportunity to be a true receiver that he's grown into wonderfully, but they're short of the marker here.
I don't see a kicker coming in. I see the big guys coming in, so they may be going for this 3rd and short. This is a 3rd and 1.5 to almost 2.
And they will be aggressive and go for it. As you see the absolutely perfect weather that we have here. I bet you the Argonauts are glad this isn't at home today, because it's about 40 degrees back in the GTA. Nice cool breeze here in Calgary. Rolling through the foothills as Quincy Vaughn leaning forward. It'll be close. Looks like he got a good push, but they had a lot to gain.
This was a 1.5, I thought, and usually when it's a 1.5, you're worried about doing quarterback sneak at this.
Aggressive, but the Argonauts front answers. What a great play on the inside. There is Argonauts head coach Mike Miller as he gets possession back after the defense for the Toronto Argonauts gets a stop on 3rd down, something that no team's been able to do against the Calgary Stampeders in this young season.
Yeah, great takeaway on 3rd and 1. As you get 3rd and 1, you're going to see good push on the front, but when you start going to the wide receivers on the outside, you got to be able to make your blocks on the perimeter. Didn't make the blocks on the perimeter. Created the penetration.
Going the screen here, Kevin Mittal makes the grab. Inside his own 30, breaks across the 40 and still on his feet and continues the trend of Kevin Mittal. Gain of 25. He's averaging up around 20 yards per catch this season, and a lot of them coming like that, yards after contact.
Yeah, how fun is this guy to watch? And then just get the ball in his hands. This is a behind the line of scrimmage screen. You put him in the backfield like he's a blocker and then let him go. And then the strong lower body following the big men and just runs people over. Huge gain. He's been so fun to watch this year, and Chad Kelly's really unlocked his deep ball potential this season.
18 catches already as we sit here opening up week number 5 of the CFL season, and they'll whistle this one dead. Flags fly.
Procedure, Toronto number 52. It's a 5-yard penalty. We'll replay 1st down.
Yeah, Peter Nicastro, who shuffled over to right guard in place of Dakota Shepley for this game, and Nicastro only giving up 1 pressure in 119 snaps so far this season, but flagged there.
Yeah, and you look at this, we just talked about Chad Kelly unlocking the deep threat of Kevin Mittal. Like last season, only 8.7, this year 19. So Chad Kelly knows this is a guy I want to find downfield when I'm making my play, when I'm starting to scramble. He's been outstanding this season.
And the end of last year, he was starting to open up the route tree a little bit more, because the first while he was just flats and curls, and looking great as the season goes on, and that one lost into the Alberta sunshine. Looks like on Mackay Poke as he just goes, yeah, that big ball of gas maybe caught my attention on that one.
Calgary Stampeders play a lot of zone. Didn't allow any of the inside throws, forced Chad to go to the wide side of the field. Sometimes those throws are harder, just throws it out of bounds, a little bit high, but really good by the Stampeders secondary, the interior guys.
Interesting matchup with this Toronto offense and Calgary defense. The Argos have faced the highest percentage of blitz in this early season. Calgary blitzes less than any team. They'll just send 4 here, but they get home, and Kelly has to get rid of it on 2nd and long. No time, as the Argos couldn't hold up front.
Clarence Hicks ISO'd on the outside. Watch him with a jump inside, makes an inside move, and that forces Kelly off his spot. Got to get the ball out of his hands. Charles Wiley's right there, but a great inside speed move on the tackle.
Tag, another quarterback pressure on for Clarence Hicks. 12 of them coming into tonight. 3rd in the CFL, and tops for the Calgary Stampeders as McAllister watches this one hop over his head, but it sits right at the 5-yard line. Wonderful punt from Haggerty is 60 yards, and Darius Pickett there escorting McAllister out of bounds. A flag is down. We'll clean it up on the other side as the Stampeders continue to lead 15-7 in the Stampede Bowl. There you see Dejon Brissetti already has a touchdown in this game. With more on the X-Argo, here's Britt Dorey.
And you can bet, Marshall, that he is excited about that touchdown because we asked him about facing his former team, and he told us it's just another game, but don't get me wrong, I'm human. It would feel pretty good to do something like that out there. Here's a wild stat, though. Toronto Argonauts, when facing the Calgary Stampeders since 2024, Chad Kelly getting the start tonight, that's the 5th quarterback to throw a pass against the Stampeders in just those few seasons. So when I asked Brissett about, being able to adapt to that amount of quarterbacks in his time in Toronto, how that helped him coming to a new team, he did say that's something I do pride myself on. And he even told us, guys, it doesn't matter who's back there. It could be my niece throwing the ball to me. I have to know where I have to be. I know my route and how to get open.
Yeah, good stuff as the Stampeders will snap it from their own 3-yard line. They've only had 3 snaps inside their own 10 so far in this young season. Of course, it was a penalty against Calgary that backed them up as we were going to break just a moment ago. So they will have to play from deep inside their own, and never easy here, Lapo.
Yeah, and there's a couple of things happen situationally. Is your right tackle, Coley, who's getting his first start, the goalpost is right next to him as they move the hashes. So when he gets to set up in his pass protection, he's got to be careful. The goalpost, you got to be careful. If you take a drop, you can't throw to the right because of the goalpost. You got to be real cautious on where the ball goes when you're backed up in these situations.
Long shadows here as the afternoon turns to evening, and I think VA's hard count worked, and so he'll take a shot over the top and just missed. Running down the rail, Jalen Philpott. But did they squeeze a free 5 and another opportunity free of those uprights?
Yeah, and I love this call here. And this is a situational football thing. You do a hard count when you're backed up inside the 5 or 3 because it's half the distance. So you get everything in the gain on if the defense jumps, but you only lose a yard or 2. If you're at the 1-yard line, there's no penalty. So you always practice this with your team of going hard count when you're backed up, try to get a freebie.
Low risk, high reward. Did it pay off? Ben Major, again, our referee, is Dave Dickinson. Already lining up the next call, working in concert with Pat Delmonico. And Vernon certainly looks like he's ready to go. Or are
There's 2 penalties on the play, offside. 95 Toronto, and we have holding 67 Calgary. We'll go back half the distance. We'll replay 2nd down.
So Kongbo jumps off on the right-hand side there, Lapo, but another call against Calgary.
Yeah, left guard Zach Williams gets the holding call right here. You can see his hand and bringing the defender down.
And Dave Dickinson wants the tempo in and out of the huddle a little bit quicker.
This is what I mean. Watch where the goalpost is compared to the right tackle.
As VA gets the 4-man rush, has time, throws outside, and it was just off the fingertips of Benji Franklin, who would have walked backwards, moonwalked perhaps, all the way for a pick 6.
Trying to get it to Tevin Jones. And you have that understanding. The ball's going to go into the boundary because quarterbacks don't want to throw to the field because of the goalpost. So they try to take the throw out here to Tevin Jones. But Benji Franklin is right there. He almost makes it. It's right about it. It's a hell of a throw.
Yeah.
Great location. Just couldn't bring it in for Tevin Jones.
Devil's advocate, I kind of like when you have to only play the boundary because of the uprights.
Yeah.
Right? When you're one-on-one, they know where you're going. You know where you have to go.
Take the deep shot.
Exactly. Gamesmanship, no matter what the physical geography of the layout is this one skips for the Calgary Stampeders, and Jarian Grant will not get a chance to return it. That will make the Calgary special teams unit happy as it ends up being 59 yards.
And Marshall, so much of this game has been removed. When teams, the rule changed where after you kick a field goal, you can take the ball at the 40-yard line. So many teams do that nowadays. So the game isn't played as backed up as many. You don't have that many backed up opportunities. So this was really good by Toronto. They had them backed up. They didn't allow first downs. Now they got great field position for them to go get in field goal range or touchdown range.
5 wide for Chad Kelly. Inside, Makai Pope makes the grab. First down, Toronto on first down and into Calgary territory as we see Chad Kelly just churning out yardage this year in a way that we haven't seen in a long time.
Look at those people he's in front of at this point. That's some amazing players in the Canadian Football League. Doug Flutie, Kent Austin, Calvillo. So he's on task. And I know Mike Miller talks about running the football. The offense goes through this guy right here. They're going to run it occasionally, but they're going to put the ball in this player's hand.
The running game resurgence for the Argonauts has been great this year, but yeah, it certainly does go through the right hand and arm of Chad Kelly as this time stacked up and turned around. is Hicks. As Hicks on Hicks, the battle there, we teed up off the front of this ball game, just a gain of 2 yards.
Yep, shorten. Clarence Hicks coming off his defensive end spot, making a nice stop there, forcing a 2nd and long.
There is Doug Flutie on the wall of honor.
Guy wasn't bad for Natick, Massachusetts. Used to watch him growing up as a kid.
Kelly looks left, works his way back right, just throws it up for DeMonte Coxie, who was in a hand battle. One-on-one on the outside with Anthony Johnson. It falls incomplete. As Coxie gets a laugh about that one.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard with Johnson here. In a full back pedal the whole time. Then he's in a position where he's deeper. Coxie can't get in a position. I think they're going to try to get a challenge flag coming when you watch that hand placement. You know, the people upstairs in the booth, when we see this angle, they're going to see the same thing. They're going to tell, hey, should we challenge here? And I think that's the message Mike Miller got from upstairs.
Toronto is challenging the previous play. They believe there should have been a penalty for pass interference. The play will be reviewed.
So they'll take a look at it with 4:05 remaining in this first half. And Miller's been on the money early on when it comes to challenges.
You can get a lot of penalties when this ball is underthrown, because as the receiver starts, both guys start to turn back, and as Coxie starts to get back to get in a position for the football, Anthony Johnson is right in that position. So does his hands go too much? That looks like impeding the receiver's ability to get back to the football. So I would think on the review, this is going to be overturned.
And the definition of the defensive pass interference call is that you tangibly affect the receiver's ability to play the football. I would say that one qualifies. I also just wonder whether or not the tug that Coxie gave to Johnson's uniform plays into this at all. Not that it should, but just back and forth physicality on the outside.
It's an interesting for this secondary this season. After Zion Alexander's first interception, that's the first interception of the season for this defense, trying to get better in the back end for the Calgary Stampeders.
As officials talking it over with Dave Dickinson, and Ben Major has the call.
Upon further review, the ruling on the field stands. Toronto loses their challenge and their last timeout. It's 3rd down.
So they spend one early on trying to get substitution package into short yardage and then lose the other on the challenge.
I thought there was an impede right there, but I will. The replay center, I guess they didn't say it was clear and obvious.
And it sends out the field goal unit, Liram Hairolahu, 19th on the CFL's all-time scoring list. 16 back of JT Hay for 18th. And he's 10 of 12 so far on the season. This one from 52 yards away. Plenty of leg and on the money as Liram closes down the gap here on the road in the Stampede Bowl. Get ready for a new season of breathtaking spectacle, a shocking betrayal and explosive drama. HBO's House of the Dragon, streamed now only on Crave. It's the Toronto Argonauts and their offense. We've seen it up and down the field, Lapo.
And Marshall, this is what I was talking about, how the game has changed right here. Field goal happens. Toronto had good field position. What does Calgary do? They take the ball at the 40. They get great field position because after field goals, everyone's getting the ball at the 40-yard.
Handed off inside, Dedrick Mills, and stuck. Looks like Brian Paralamana came down. Closed things out, or was that? Yeah, it looks like James Caesar actually might have come in from that boundary halfback spot to make the stick.
These DBs have to, because offenses use their receivers in the blocking schemes. You have to also have your DBs be able to have physicality. Obviously, Darius Pickett is a defensive back closer to the ball, but James Caesar at times and Deshaun Amos got to get close to the box to make stops in the run game.
This is the 3-minute warning.
And we have hit time at 3 minutes. Calgary up by 5 here as Vernon Adams Jr. looks to extend the lead before halftime.
Panel live at halftime. We've requested aerial shots so you can see our entire outfits, by the way. We'd love to break down the football game, but as you know, the biggest story of the first half was the race between the fastest cow and Milt Siegel. What went wrong? Find out at half.
Love the white boots Kate's got on.
Looks great.
Excellent.
The panel, suited and booted.
Panel.
It's Vernon Adams Jr. handing it off to Dedrick Mills on first down. Went for a gain of 5, right on the average for the Stampeders in their rushing attack this year. Tied second with Winnipeg, and it leaves 2nd down and 5 to go. And the Stamps score before half. VA tried to escape the pocket. Flags fly as he couldn't get out.
Illegal contact on a receiver, Toronto number 26. It's a 10-yard penalty. It makes it a first down for Calgary.
The call goes against Brian Harlamana, but 8 scrambles on the season coming in. First in the CFL for VA. He is not shy to get out, and Dave Dickinson a fan of that. He called him the jitterbug in the game against BC last week. Yeah, and
you know, that you have to do that sometimes. When Ralph Hawley, Jalen Bell did a twist, he felt pressure. They recovered very well to make that play.
So a fresh set of downs here right at the 55. And they give a little jet sweep around the corner. Jalen Philpott, that's been a staple of his time with the Calgary Stampeders, and this time he takes it for a gain of 7.
Yeah, you always want to protect your inside core runs with what you call misdirection runs. So here's a misdirection. He's going to come across. The line all goes to the right. You just flip it to your receiver on the outside. He should circle the defense and leave your receivers out there. If those 2 receivers make a block, you get a big gain. Nice 5-yard gain. So when everybody's packed in trying to stop Dedrick Mills, you can get it to Philpott on the perimeter.
And Andrew Chatfield is down for the Toronto Argonauts right now, as they've dressed 8 defensive linemen in this football game. 4 defensive ends by position, 4 defensive tackles, and Chatfield already with a sack in this football game, but slow to get up onto his feet.
Done a nice job in the draft. See if we can see Chatfield right here when he goes to make the tackle. Rolls his knee.
Got tangled up, but walking under his own steam back to the sideline. It's great to see. And it leaves 2nd down and 3 here for the Stampeders.
He was a great interview this week. He said, I'm more comfortable with all these tricks these O-linemen are doing to me. All these tricks and making sure, trying to give one look.
Then you said, what's a trick?
Yeah, give me what a trick is. He's like, well, the receivers, they do that waggle thing and try to get me to jump off sides, but no, I know they're doing that stutter cadence. Yeah.
My favorite was when he started talking about offensive linemen typically look where they're going, and sometimes you'll see guys turn their head the opposite direction and then take 1 step down and come back and pop you right in the chest.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I don't fall for that anymore. I'm starting to figure this thing out day after day as the Stamps go empty this time around. Little underneath, Crowder running free through the secondary, breaking 1 tackle, then a second, and finally brought down. It is Deshaun Brissett. Used to love doing that for the Toronto Argonauts, now running through their secondary like it's a practice rep that he used to take so many times.
You're going to see the tailback leave, and what does that do? That opens the underneath, and that gives an opportunity. As the linebackers have to climb with the back, that creates space, plenty of room for Deshaun Brissett. A great rhythm throw by Vernon. Once the linebacker got high, get the ball to Deshaun underneath.
22nd empty snap of the year for the Stampeders, that one. As now Toronto sends all the pressure. Wide open, Jalen Philpott. Oh, he made the press, but couldn't get away. Great tackle by Caesar in the open field.
Great recognition. Why quarterbacks are doing so well this season in the pass game. You got a lot of veteran guys. It was blitz, one-on-one on the perimeter. Vernon recognizes it immediately, gets the ball outside, but Caesar is one of the most physical players on this Toronto Argonaut team at only 5'10". That's why he leads the team in defensive tackles. That's a huge stop to put the ball at the 2-yard line.
Pivotal moment here in the ball game with 2:04 remaining. The Stampeders wanting a touchdown to send the extended halftime into a celebratory mood. VA play fake to the outside. Caught. Touchdown, Jalen Philpott, second of the ball game.
This is a beautiful catch. Pretty pictures by the receiver, Jalen Philpott. It's a little bit of a rough play, but watch how he has to leave his feet to make this catch and controls the football. Unbelievable catch by Jalen. Great concentration on the ball that was a little bit too far for him.
Might have been the second effort that got that one done. Ball rolling around. Not sure he had complete control the first time, but popped it back across the goal line, and it counts. And Jalen immediately started to track down twin brother Tyson in the touchdown category.
You can see how much the Calgary Stampeders respect the run game. The run defense, I should say, the Toronto Argonauts. It's 2nd and 2 from the 2. You got 2 runs possibly. Nope, we're going to throw the football here. Going to do a little rub play versus man, get Jalen the ball. Jalen picks him up with an amazing catch.
And a 22-10 advantage. The largest lead of the season, by the way, last week was when Calgary went up by 21 against the BC Lions. Not quite there, but they are certainly in control of this first half as Vernon Adams Jr. playing with a high level of confidence after taking down his old team. Although Dave Dickinson did kind of laugh with us this week. He's like, it's nice for VA to get that victory against the BC Lions because they decided to trade him away. But he's like, Vernon's got like 5 old teams.
Yeah.
He plays against an old team basically every time we take the field.
Long enough, it's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. He's bounced around, but he's found a home here in Calgary, and they've signed him to an extension as well as the Argonauts wait to get the football back. And Chad Kelly, you know, always dangerous. Will be very interested in trying to tighten down the gap before half. Ball on the tee. And will they kick it to Grant? No, they decide to go over the head, bouncing off his hands. And into the end zone of Isaiah Smith. And now Smith tackled inside the 10 on a special teams faux pas right there. So going away from Grant works wonders for the Stampeders.
Part of the success of this game so far has been the combination of a number that obviously Calgary's keeping this high-powered offense off the field. And now this special teams mistake is going to back them up. They got to go 100 yards right before the half to get a touchdown. But hats off to Calgary's offense to keep this high-powered offense off the field.
Jesu Laomi Ojitalayo, the rookie out of Wilfrid Laurier, makes the special teams tackle. And now Chad Kelly gets to Mackay Polk, who if he stayed on his feet and kept his momentum might have been free for an even bigger gain. But a 5th catch from Mackay Polk immediately gives breathing room to the Argos, and they'll go tempo.
Yeah, as they throw this right off the linebacker, in between the linebacker and the deep halfback. Great throw by Chad Kelly.
Kelly looks out to the outside. Dave Unger in the sun makes the grab in front of Johnson. And I was saying to head coach Mike Miller that I watched the Saskatchewan game. There were some throws where the ball just exploded out of Kelly's hand last week. I said I was watching it and going, oh man. And he said, yeah, we make those noises too when we're watching film.
Sometimes on the sideline,
right?
Yeah.
And that's another one, that throw to Mackay Polk over the middle of the field. You just go, man, so much arm strength. As now he tries to rip it incomplete, skipping it into the Toronto bench. And 3rd and 1. So what do you do here if you're managing the game for Mike Miller? Offense stays on.
They've already used their timeouts, yeah. Right? So they don't. Right? So they got plenty of time left, though. You can run the ball right here to get this first down and get back up in tempo.
It'd be a great time for
went empty.
Tyler Common to get involved in the fray as they go 4-by-2, and Kelly's going to try to get it with his legs right up the middle. And Kelly free to slide his way down at the 45-yard line. So move the sticks on 3rd and 1. He got that and plenty more.
So intelligent by Chad, recognizing, hey, as the box clears out, when there's only 4 rushers, they get upfield, nobody in the middle of the field. I'm going to go ahead and run it, get the first down. Nice play there, recognizing the middle of the field's wide open.
Gain of 17 yards and their longest of the ball game, regardless of position. It comes from the quarterback. Kelly looks right, resets his feet, completes to DeMonte Coxey. And Coxey turns down the sideline, turns on the Jets, and gets brought down at the 7-yard line.
Delaney Robinson doesn't make the tackle the first time as Coxey goes in here. He's trying to get it inside. He has to throw it on the outside. You see Robinson in his first start, you miss this tackle, and that creates the huge gain up the sideline for 39 yards.
Chad Kelly got popped. I'm not sure how he got any strength to get it out to Coxey on this one as Clarence Hicks came free around the corner. Got his throwing hand caught up, but somehow zipped it out to Coxey, who gets them down to the 7. Blitz on from the Stampeders, underneath and dropped. Mackay Polk couldn't hang on. Coverage there from the free safety, Damon Webb.
Stampeders is saying, hey, you know what? You hit a couple of plays versus in zone. We're going to change it up close to the goal line. They bring everybody. They bring the house. Chad recognizes it, puts it on Mackay Polk. It just, whether it's the son or whatever, he's got to look that ball into his hands for the touchdown.
Chad Kelly already over 200 yards passing, on pace for what he's been doing this year. Which seems crazy to say because we showed you early how high that pace is. As Kelly looks left then right, back left, now pumps and walks it in. You can take away all 5-6 receivers, but at some point, Calgary's defense is going to have to deal with the legs of Chad Kelly.
A little bit different celebration right there. So the difference is sometimes you want to cover all the receivers, and they do that. You can even see Lee is man-to-man on the back, but there's nobody left for the quarterback. When you play some of these matchup man coverages, you're going to be in a position where if you have a mobile quarterback, he's going to make you pay when everybody's covered. You either got to spy him or don't do that, or try to mix up or bring some pressure.
Going for their first 2-point conversion attempt of the season here are the Toronto Argonauts. DeMonte Coxey, the lone man at the top of your screen, and that's the direction Kelly goes. Tries the back shoulder, and they get tangled up again. Late flag does come out. They've already had the reviewed interaction between Coxey and Johnson. And Johnson making his case.
You can see the trust.
Defensive pass interference. Calgary, number 44. We'll go up half the distance. We'll replay the 2-point convert.
Oh, it got quick 6.
Quick 6. Felt that was less of pass interference than the last one, but I will.
Sorry, Quick.
Quick 6, you okay?
What a gamer. That's a football horse right there.
It's a calm, cool, collected horse. He didn't even flinch. So this first and goal, this will turn into a short yardage game.
Nick Arbuckle turns around, hands it off. They tried to run this to Isaiah Smith earlier. They got flagged for a time count. And this time around, flags fly, but it looks like offside against Calgary. As Smith at the bottom of the pile.
Offside, Calgary, number 51. We will replay the 2-point convert from the 1-yard line.
We got the stop, but offside the call.
Just such a brutal penalty here when you're trying your hardest to get the stop, and you just have to have the understanding. You cannot put your hand there when you know where the ball is when it's on the 1-yard line. You have the white paint to tell you where to stay on side.
Nick Arbuckle digs in once again. Left-hand side, and the veteran who was the Argonauts MOP nominee last season. Hard to believe when you think about Chad Kelly just walking into the room and being the starter, but relegated to short yardage quarterback for now. But Nick Arbuckle doing the work at short yardage here with 32 seconds remaining in the half.
This is a huge response on the road for the Toronto Argonauts on a drive that started at their 10-yard line to be able to go the length of the field for this score. 7 plays, 100 yards.
Jalen Philpott gets the touchdown, and we said Toronto's offense can score in bunches and do it quickly, and just like that, connection to Mackay Polk over the middle. Chad Kelly using his legs.
But certainly added by the penalty in the end zone.
Definitely.
You know, on the pass interference.
Calgary does get the football to start the second half as they won the toss and deferred. Toronto took the football, and Stampeders will have their decision to make, but expect them to take the rock as Dave Dickinson perhaps wishing the end of half execution at a bit of a higher level here more than a month in. As Ludovic Choquette stands back, ready to return in the dwindling sun of McMahon Stadium. Calgary coming home after the big win on the road in Kelowna against the BC Lions last week. A sidewinder this time will drop down into the waiting arms of Tyreek McAllister, and special teams coverage supplied there once again by Jeremiah Ojo, the Montreal Caravan product, as Vernon Adams Jr. 12 of 15.
We'll take it. 80% completion, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions again. And they got about 27 seconds, so you got plenty of time to get within field goal range. Just need a couple passes. Put yourself in a position to get 3 more points right before the half.
Isn't it ridiculous, though, Lap, the way the start of the season has gone? We see a guy with 191 yards and 3 incompletions, and we're like,
okay.
That's normal. Just on par. That's fine.
Depth of the quarterbacks.
Right
now.
VA works the boundary, complete. Down the sideline, Tevin Jones. He's going to get them into field goal range and maybe more to end the first half in a foot race. And touchdown, Stampeders. 1 pass, 1 completion, 1 touchdown. Vernon Adams Jr. to Tevin Jones for 73 yards.
Take the one-on-one, and when you go for the football, if you miss, you've got to be on the upfield shoulder so you can make the tackle, especially in this 4-by-1 set. And again, I'm watching this the whole time. He's got plenty of time. It ran down to about 16, 15. You want to make sure you got to get in the end zone before the clock runs down, but he had plenty of time. But Franklin, when you go for that shot, if you miss, it could go for a long way. We just saw Delaney Robinson give up a big play for an explosive play on the perimeter. Same thing over here on Benji Franklin.
15 seconds remain in this first half. It took 17 seconds for the Stampeders to answer the Argonauts, who just answered the Stampeders.
And how about Tevin Jones? 2 weeks in a row, a huge touchdown. He had an amazing catch last week on a go ball for a touchdown, underthrown ball. Great, put his hands up. This is just great speed, concentration for the touchdown.
13 of the 14 regular season games so far this CFL season have featured 50 points or more. We're at 47. It's halftime. It's not even halftime yet. Who knows? But I'm not a betting man. I'd be willing to wager my entire livelihood, though, that we will cross the 50-point barrier in this game.
Yes, and Chad Kelly's going to put some balls up in the air for people to see downfield. He's going to throw the ball downfield.
Kelly is probably ready to go into halftime admiring his work on the touchdown drive, using his legs to free up some opportunities for the Argonauts. But Vernon Adams Jr. to Tevin Jones, 1 missed tackle in a foot race means we sit at 29-18 in the Stampede Bowl, with halftime with the panel on site coming up. And Isaiah Smith gets another touch, makes his way to the 32-yard line. What a first half.
The VA sitting here trying to say, hey, I can play with the great quarterback. That's the thing coming into this game. VA's been protecting the football. They've been running the football. But they've decided this game, we're gonna put the ball in VA's hand and make the plays downfield. So 81%, 264 yards in the first half, 4 touchdowns and a half.
You just know there's somebody opening their phone at the cottage here on Canada Day week going, the score's what? at halftime? As the handoff inside, going nowhere, turned around swiftly. Kyle Wilson makes the tackle right there. And points aplenty available, and the question now becomes for these defenses going into halftime, what adjustments can you make when the quarterbacks are playing like this and the receivers are just running free, it seems like, all over the place.
Yeah, and we'll see. Toronto's just going to take a knee, regroup.
Kelly kneels it out. 29-18 is your score as we head to the half.
They got to find an answer for this guy's legs. That's what's really got to happen for Calgary. Hey, how do we minimize? We're doing a great job in the back end. We got to minimize that. Devin Jones, once again, big explosive play for a touchdown 2 weeks in a row, helping Vernon Adams and company to a big lead.
I just talked about how VA was on pace for, you know, a big yardage day. He's got 4 touchdown passes in the first half. Does Vernon, as it sits at 264 yards. VA is on pace for a 500-yard outing potentially here in the Stampede Bowl, and it's been plenty of them to Dejon Brissett, who has been enjoying his return to the lineup against his old team, and he's with our Grid Tour.
You told us this week that you're still human. It would feel good to come out here and have big plays against your former team. So how did it feel to find the end zone and have some of those big plays in that first half?
It feels great, man. Against anybody, it feels great. Definitely feels great this week. It'll feel great next week as well.
A lot of great plays on offense from all these receivers tonight. What is clicking for this group?
We're just running. We're running around, hair on fire, flying around, making plays, man. This is wide receiver you. That's how we feel. You know, get us the ball, we'll make it happen.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, Kate, we'll head it off to the panel now. Has Milt put his cowboy gear back on yet?
You know, Milt's doing okay. He's, I mean, obviously he would have loved to have won. We're going to break the race down in just a moment. But first, we have an amazing CFL football game to talk about. Enoch Mwamba, Davis Sanchez, Milt Stiegel, and we got the Calgary Stampeders up by 11. That is a heck of a way to end a half when it comes to Vernon Adams and company. And let's talk about Vernon Adams right now. 264, as the guys just mentioned. This could be a 500 night for VA. 4 touchdowns in the first half alone, Milt.
And I think it's safe to say this is the best football these first games we've seen VA play since he's been in the CFL. And we can talk about the fact that, you know, he hasn't thrown an interception, but I think we see VA morphing into the quarterback that Dave Dickinson wants him to be. Before we would talk about VA being that athletic guy who would drop back and take off and run, but now he's coming that pocket passer. Now he's being productive, throwing the ball down to his receivers, and when there's nothing there, he's taking a sack. He's not taking those plays where you can throw interception. That's what Dave Dickinson was on about him earlier. Sometimes you got to take a sack. The main goal of an offense is to do one of 3 things. You either punt the ball, you're kicking a field goal, or you're kicking an extra point. That's what they've been doing every single time. VA is playing some great ball. And how do you finish a half like that again? That's absolutely amazing. Once again, Tevin Jones makes a play, a defense, a back takes a risk, and he scores. We saw this last week against BC. So good for VA for coming out and playing some productive football. If I'm any opposing team in the CFL, I'm scared right now, because with that defense and the way VA is playing, this team can go out and beat anybody.
Yeah, and Milt, speaking of that defense, we talked about that front early and what they were going to do and how Chad would handle that front. Well, we've been talking about it. Coach Lapalisse and Marshall talked about it up at the booth. Chad Kelly, it's fine to rush 4 and go at and get to Chad with 4 with that D-line. It's great to do that, but the issue is one of those 270-pound linemen have to get Chad on the ground. And that they were not able to do that, and that's why you saw the first drive, Chad moved around. They had 9 plays, touchdown, and a lot of it was just Chad manipulating the pocket. He's not running for yards. He's just moving around within the pocket to buy time to throw the ball, and that's really what this drive was all about. And then you saw a little mix-up from Bob Slowick, and I knew this when we thought Enoch said it. We thought this was going to come. They started rushing 4 and rushing 5. Now you have your 2 linebackers. You have Lee and Wilson that are 225 pounds. Now those guys are blitzing in, and now they have a better matchup to get Chad on the ground, or at least make Chad get rid of the ball. So I thought that was a nice job from Chad at this drive. This drive was 9 plays, 75 yards. After that, it was interception, punt, because Bob Slowick switched it up, started rushing 5, started rushing 6, and that forced Chad to get rid of the ball. But it is, Lapo said it, that's the key to this offense, is stopping Chad's legs, but not necessarily running, but him manipulating the pocket and buying time.
Yes, you talk about the game of chess, too, between the coordinators, right? And you talk about Chad Kelly in the pocket. He has just so much poise. He's calm in the pocket, and his eyes are always downfield, and he's a threat to run. You talk about how the defensive ends, and I'm looking at those two guys right now. You said the defensive tackles. Well, I'm looking at those two defensive ends that are extremely dangerous in hits as well as flow. They get up the field a little bit too much. You got to have some weight integrity when you're rushing as well. And so you talk about the chess match. What happened here? You got one route down the field because what? Coach Mike, he brought in a lot more protection in the backfield. You got a running back. You got an extra running back blocking. You got an extra receiver blocking because you're so afraid of that defense. But then you got Zy Alexander just locking in. 2 DBs on Polk right there. So now they can lock in on that receiver because what? There's a lot more and more pressure. You got to go max pro, and this is the result right there. Zy Alexander with the interception. He's a big, tall DB. Goes up with one hand and just dirty.
That's one of the plays of the year so far. We all watched it. We're like, I can't wait to see that in slow mo. It looks even better. We got to talk about Jalen Philpott for a hot minute here. And look, there's been a lot of Tyson Philpott chatter this season so far, and he got that first touchdown in Kelowna. You could see with the relief on his face. It's halftime. He's got 52 yards and 2 TDs. He is balling out, Milt.
Yes, he is. And when I talked to him and his brother last offseason, they both cheer for each other, but they both want to do better than the other one. So he saw his brother ball, and he was like, okay, it's my turn. I talked to him before the game. He said, I'm going to make it happen. That's exactly what he's doing. You know, him and his brother, they're great route runners. They're tough. They can make catches in traffic, and they like to, after the catch, get those touchdowns. So it's good for him to get those 2 touchdowns. He had 1 last week, 2 so far this first half. Vernon Adams knows how to find him in that end zone. So it's a beautiful thing to see. With high-scoring game, and both of these guys are playing some great football.
It was a beautiful thing. We've had some phenomenal highlights, a high-scoring game, and we were saying it too. How many good games in the CFL have we had already this season? This has been great. The highlight we haven't showed you yet was, of course, the cow race. And Milt, we have been pumping this up for 1 full year. After Enoch ran and we gave him a head start, I mean, you did say...
I don't want a head start. I don't want a head start.
Enoch, don't talk like that, please.
That's what it sounds like when you talk to me, Milt.
Now, it was looking good, Milton Siegel, and I know you trained so hard for this, but let's give credit to this cow. He is actually quite fast.
I think I started celebrating too soon. I'm coasting. I look back at him. I saw the crowd cheering for me. I'm like, hold on. I go, shucks. I won.
Run that back.
Run it back.
I don't know about that.
No,
Milt.
you didn't.
I'm going in the red flag. I won.
No.
Challenge again?
Well, he told me, he's like, my wife and my kids are watching. My family's here. Could you please let me win? I made it look good. I let it win.
Can someone roll that back in the end? They see Enoch with a selfie stick, get himself in the picture. It's Enoch's race. Milt's race. Enoch got a spoon like this.
Listen,
what are you doing?
When you had 1 full year of hearing about you got to fall, you got a head start.
Enoch, I was out there about 8 or 9 yards, Enoch. 8 or 9 yards.
We were impressed. We were really proud. You know what?
Honest. Go ahead.
Be honest.
Yeah, about
and
the
you're going to
injury.
race him next year.
Oh, it's on next year. It's on.
And let's just tell this. Bill won't say it, but Bill had a tweaked hamstring coming into
No
it.
excuses.
He didn't want to bring it up.
No,
I'll bring it up for him because he wouldn't say it or didn't want to talk about it, but his hamstring was tweaked. So I respect you didn't talk about it.
We need to celebrate here, and this is the great part of being on the road is they, of course, bring us all their stadium flavors. And Milt, I know you don't eat a lot of sugar, but I feel like tonight is the night where maybe you should indulge a little bit here. Enoch, give a try to that and see what we have here. I know this is poutine in a waffle bowl. Milt, this seems like something you would love, correct? Oh, it's mac and cheese.
When we're off camera, I'm going to crush it. When we get off camera, I'm going to crush it.
Right here. Respect our guy, Alexander Hollis.
They've been asking for the hot dog talk. You guys get the hot dogs, we promise. We promise. Thank you to the Calgary Stampeders. A phenomenal night once again. It's the Stampede Bowl. Cheers, Enoch. And you know what? You wanted this footage, guys. Here's the slow-mo of the end of the race. It's the cow.
He had you, Milt.
Congratulations to the cow.
You did not win.
We got a one-on-one record on the panel. We'll be back with Jay McNeil. Well, it is a beautiful night here in Calgary, but tomorrow we are back in British Columbia for a little Friday night football, and then on Saturday it will be round 2 from touchdown Kelowna. Friday night football has Red Black still looking for that first win of the season, and they're taking on the Saskatchewan Roughriders in the nation's capital. Saturday, as mentioned, we're back at the Apple Bowl in Kelowna. The Lions also looking for their first win of the season. It won't be easy against the perfect 3-0 Elks, and it all wraps up with a little Sunday night football as the Bombers are in the Hammer to take on the Tiger Cats. Now, you may have noticed we are wearing some fantastic attire this evening. This all courtesy of Alberta Boots. This was an incredible experience, and this was as fun for us as I think it was for the store. But the fact that they let us go on a free-for-all was incredible. I think Milt had the best time.
Oh, I had a wonderful time. And their logo is where tradition meets innovation. That's truly it. What they have going on there is truly special. So if you're in Calgary, if you live in Calgary, you have to get to this place. It's
that was a lot of uncomfortable leg there, Chessie. Yeah. I'm not going to lie to you. I think the problem was I was so overwhelmed by the amount of stuff that was in there that their staff was actually able to put together these incredible fits.
I mean, the staff was amazing, Kay. You talk about the quality of the material, the hats, the shirts, the pants. Everything was A1. But the experience as the part of the process and getting to everything was just amazing.
You know what the best part is, too? We always say, this is one and done, but it certainly isn't, because the Grey Cup is right back here in November, and we're going to be wearing these fits all over again as we welcome the president of the Calgary Stampeders, Jay McNeil. Jay, once again, thank you very much for having us, having the panel. We love being here. This is the second annual Stampede Bowl, and last year, I think a lot of us thought, okay, it's the night before the Stampede opens. This is going to be amazing. But now it feels like this amazing tradition. What is it like for you and your staff to be back here this year?
Well, last year with it being the very first one, the inaugural, we didn't know how it was going to go, what to expect, and the city, the Stampede, everybody really came together, and we had a great night. And so this year is all about building on what we did last year. What can we do better? And so far, so good. We're having a lot of fun.
Every team, at least one team has to do this every year, where you have to focus on the current season, but also prep for the Grey Cup.
Right.
So for you, what's the biggest challenge as far as thriving to be one of the 2 teams in November, but also, trying to make sure that it's going to be a great time for everybody, the whole league?
I think first off, like everything, is the people you surround yourself with. Our Grey Cup team, I trust them. They're going to put on the best Grey Cup in history. We're going to build upon everything that's been done before us and put on the best in history. And I'll let Dave and our coaches worry about getting us there.
I know in our conversations, it's always winning. You're an ex-player and played at a high level, and winning is the most important thing, and always seems to be the answer to everything. But you've also talked a lot about modernizing the business. What does that part look like for you?
Well, it's like everything evolves, and I think one of the things we were guilty of as an organization is relying on doing the things we've always done. We led the league in attendance for so long, and now we've really had to pivot and really, like, how do we engage with our fans? How do we provide a fan experience in one of the oldest buildings in Canada, and overcome some of the challenges that come with that? And so I'm really proud of the team that we have, the innovation that they do, and that every day they're coming up with new ideas, and I love what they do.
I could give you one idea. You mind taking suggestions?
Yes.
Let's rewind back to 2003. We were together in 2003, the big rumble, Labor Day. Ed Hervey swinging helmets.
Yes.
Turns into a massive brawl, and we had 47,000 people here, and then 50,000 in Edmonton the next week or something.
We could do that. Into that one, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hold on, Ed is the GM, and Edmund, we can go ahead GM versus president.
Who needs a helmet swing, and we're selling
I like this.
Yeah.
Who needs a cow race, huh?
Let's piggyback off what Chad said. Now, your last year was 2007. So from 2007 to 2003, they won some Grey Cups, the Bo Levi Mitchell era. There was some buzz here. But when you played here from 1994 to 2000, the buzz here was unmatched. What do you think is the biggest hurdle to getting that buzz back in this place?
Well, when John Huffnagel came in 2008, and we went on, we were in 4 Grey Cups, we were one.
But the buzz wasn't like it when you were here, though. It wasn't. Well, this place was different. This place
was different, right? We know Wally did a great job of keeping the core group, getting engaged with the community, and we had a fan support. Like, it was incredible, and it was so much fun to be a part of. That horse ran up and down that sideline all the time.
I got tired of it.
Opposing teams hate him, and that is something that we're trying to recreate. Like, so we want to have that same success off the field, right? But we want to have that success on the field because that's going to drive everything that goes with it.
We also had Jeff Garcia and Doug Flutie. That doesn't hurt either.
You think about 1998, we had Jeff Garcia, Henry Burris, and Dave Dickinson. 3 pretty good quarterbacks.
And that 2001 Grey Cup, you guys cheated, but that's the difference.
Get over it. He's still
just like the horse race. Cheated.
Exactly, just like the race here. Jay, I got to ask you, the momentum of something like the Stampede Bowl and now coming up with the Grey Cup in November, how do you think the momentum will roll into that? And we're talking about showcasing Calgary and the way it used to be. But what are you hoping for when it comes to the Grey Cup? That these stands are filled, that you're putting on a party? Which level are you going to take this to?
Well, one thing about Calgary is Calgary loves to host a party. Tonight's the kickoff to the Stampede, the Stampede Bowl. There's an energy around the Grey Cup. People know it's coming. They're excited. They can't wait to welcome Canada. And so I'm really excited about, the Stampeders. We get to do it with our community and welcome the country. So it's going to be exciting. There's going to be lots of music. There's going to be a focus on the arts. We're going to make this one of the most inclusive Grey Cups in history, and we're excited about it.
Jay, this is 4th year back with the team, 2nd year as president, as a leader for this team, this organization. Can you talk to us about some of the goals you initially had and where you feel like you're at compared to what you thought where you wanted to be?
Yeah, that's a great question. 2023, we started, we talked about investing in our season ticket holders, investing in fan engagement and fan growth. And I think we built a great foundation, and now it's where can we take it from there. We're just getting started. We're getting started on the field, we're getting started off the field, and I like where we're going as an organization.
Jay, we really appreciate you bringing us back. We really appreciate you coming on to set, and we appreciate the passion of what you're trying to do here in Calgary. It's admirable, to say the least. We've been to all these different stadiums, and we know that you're in a growth stage right now, but it's really impressive. So thank you again for inviting us, and of course bringing this beautiful trophy, and we'll see what happens at the end of the night, but I know you want this handed out to your Calgary Stampeders.
We do not want that leaving Calgary.
All right, meanwhile, as you can hear, there is a concert going behind us as well. If you're on TikTok or social media, you know how popular this woman is Dasha Bootstop. She's currently performing. It is officially a party in Calgary, but we have second half action. Stamps up by 11 right after this.
There's a world and there's a way. I'm sure you lost it. Didn't even say goodbye. Just wish I knew it, 'cause it's the whiskey flowing. Were you in a fight? Did the nerves come get you? What's your alibi? I made my way back too late, and that's where you'll be forgotten. In 40 years, you'll still be here. Drunk, washed up.
Numbers from the first half of play here in Calgary. Points, and more points. The offenses have been dominant, and a major player in that for the Argonauts passing attack has been Mackay Polk, who's alongside our Brent Dorr.
Mackay, Kevin Mintz told us before the game it's really important this offense is all on the same page. How did you evaluate that first half?
Yeah, we got it together towards the end of the first half, and we just gonna keep attacking and keep getting better. As the game progresses, we got to come out strong this second half and just come out the aggressor, be it a hammer and not the nail.
Given the chess match that this game has become, what are you expecting from the Calgary defense in the second half?
Same thing they was doing in the first half. We just got to play our game and capitalize on the opportunities that they're giving us and not overthink anything. Just play our game.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
And Britt stole the idea of the chess match right out of my mouth right there, Lapo, because I'm imagining at halftime on the whiteboard, okay, do this and this, and somebody in the back of the room going, but coach, Kelly's legs. Then another guy gets, but coach, what about Mackay Polk? It's like, woo, up and down they go. Calgary will get the football first with an opportunity to make their opening statement here in the third quarter. And a big first half, of course, for Vernon Adams Jr., as we spoke about those 4 touchdown passes, and he made it look easy. That might be the scary part. We'll see what he has in store here for the second half as Tyreek McAllister gets the first touch for the home Stamps and crosses the 30 before getting that nice big pop on special teams. That's Cam Judge, one of your outstanding Canadians, as we get a look at Vernon Adams Jr. and his 4-pack of passing touchdowns from that first half.
Quick throw, good movement in the pocket, putting a good start out in the red zone. Couple of good red zone touchdowns here. moving the ball all the way. You got 3 of them inside the 10-yard line, and then this shot right before the half. Tevin Jones, perfect location by Vernon, creates a huge explosive play for the touchdown. So 4 TDs in the first half.
Maybe some history on route as well. We'll get to that in just a second when it comes to franchise record for touchdown passes in a game as they begin with the handoff around the edge. And the all-time record for Calgary Stampeders passing touchdowns in a single game, 6. Very much within reach, but there's 4 players who have had 6.
Doug Flutie.
Doug Flutie, yep.
Bo Levi Mitchell.
Ooh, no.
Jeff Garcia.
Yes.
I don't know the other 2 then.
Lisk and some guy on the sideline.
Okay.
Dave Dickinson. Yeah, there you go. So there's 4 of them. It's Garcia, Flutie, Dickinson, and Lisk. And amazing to think that Dickinson might be helping to engineer a game in which, in the Stampede Bowl no less, the VA could break that. Plenty of ground to cover before we get there, but historical note as inside, nice dive that time, second effort on the check down from Dedrick Mills to get the first down yardage.
And here's my thoughts of you talk about the chess match. For Toronto defensively, if you look at the stats in this first half, second down stops, which they just converted again, Calgary's offense, they were 7 of 10 Calgary converting on second down. So the Toronto's got to find a way to get them off the field. You know, this is the team that's got the most takeaways in the CFL. They have 1 on a 3rd and short, but can they get a takeaway? That's what Toronto has to do defensively.
Absolutely. Inside handoff here. Mills bounces it off, and nice tackle. Otherwise, more damage would have been done. Benji Franklin brought down Dedrick Mills, but his longest run of the ball game, and that one goes for 9.
Yeah, he hasn't been, you know, really haven't featured the run game as much, given respect to how well the defensive line and the linebackers have played this season. But as this game goes on, they're going to try to wear them out and get Dedrick Mills involved.
You got off the slow-mo that time of Dante Demery, the left tackle, kind of in a hand battle with Andrew Chatfield, just kind of going, turning around it. Dedrick, where are you, man? You're busting through the line yet? It was a nice patient run, but took a minute. Got there for 9. Now can he go get the first down? Who swung around the edge that time to tackle him behind the line of scrimmage? And Darius Pickett, the party starter.
So when you bring all these extra people in to help block, you got to get receiver help. We talk about it sometimes. And a Darius Pickett, that's that strong side linebacker, you're going to see him show up in the screen. Jones has got to get a piece of him. He doesn't. He lets him beat him clean. And that's the short yardage stop you're going to get. You've got to protect your edges. Tevin Jones has got to be in there. Greg Quick's defense makes a huge stop here. We talked about it. You got to get some stops on second down. That's a huge stop.
Massive effort from Darius Pickett. Tevin Jones left the door open just enough. And so Janarian Grant, inside his own 10-yard line, will receive the 52-yard punt and step out of bounds as Calgary gets their first touch of the second half, but can't do anything with it. Chad Kelly, monster first half, over 200 yards, just like Vernon Adams Jr. Completion percentage a little bit lower, perhaps less efficient, but explosive as always, as you would expect. And a lot of it had to do with him creating outside of the pocket.
Two rushes for 24 yards, the leading receiver on this team, but is able to get the ball into his player's hands as he uses his legs to create some of those explosives. He does have an interception, but an amazing play by Zaya Alexander on the touchdown, on the interception. But a good first half for Chad Kelly. And for Calgary Stampeders, what they have to be talking about, Bob Slowick, defense coordinator, is going to say, hey, let's defensive ends, keep him in the pocket. We want him. We're getting good pass rush. We're getting good dent of the pocket by our defensive linemen. The defensive ends, you guys keep the contain. Let the guards get pushed into Chad Kelly so he's got nowhere to run. And they've actually, Sam Hicks hasn't been an issue. 3 carries, 2 yards.
Damage being done in other ways here tonight as Kelly looks to throw, checks it down, and on cue there is Hicks out of the backfield. Thrown to the turf quickly by Markel Lee, always on the spot.
He's man-to-man on Hicks here because they played man coverage, and this is one of the adjustments. Now they're playing what you call 2 deep man under. That gives somebody to handle Chad Kelly in man, but also handle everybody else on the field with man coverage. Easy check down. Almost a face mask right there they could possibly get away with.
As Haggerty boots this one away, beautiful spiraling kick as there were 2 returners back, and they picked Tyreek McAllister to receive it. He does, and it looks like Isaac D'Arcangelo down there on special teams. So you're starting middle linebacker all over it as well. 64 yards on the punt. Canada takes on Morocco in the FIFA World Cup 2026 round of 16 on Saturday at 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific. Catch all the action on TSN, CTV, and Crave. I will be at a 5-year-old's birthday party Saturday at 1 o'clock.
With your phone watching.
I fully expect wherever we are.
Every dad will have their phone.
Has to have their phone in there. Maybe we'll get together and we'll just like have a projector that attaches to the phone. I don't know. We're definitely watching, and so are you. You'd be lying if you said you're not. So excited to see Canada take on Morocco after they get the victory against the Netherlands in the FIFA World Cup. As Vernon Adams Jr. looks to throw, gets hit down low as he releases it and tipped up in the air, then caught. Tevin Jones caught it off the bounce. The ricochet from Benji Franklin.
I thought when the ball came out of the hands, I thought Benji Franklin undercut it enough to be able to make the play, but it was just a little bit high. This is a deep crossing route that's very hard for the corner to chase all the way across the field, but he undercuts it. He's just in a good position. He just can't get the other hand up to make the interception. Just a great throw by Vernon and a great recovery by Tevin Jones.
And Mickey Donovan, the special teams coordinator for the Argonauts in the background, is everyone watching at home going, nice play. Oh, no! Caught it on the run. You can't simulate that in practice, just natural ball skills. As Vernon Adams Jr. goes over 300 yards and now goes for even more. Down the sideline, drops it in, Clark Barnes, touchdown! Vernon Adams Jr. has 5.
Double moves are what kills teams out in the secondary. You see Barnes on the slant and then go, running a sluggo route. Gets McFadden to bite on the inside move. Wide open. All you have to do is spot that ball for Vernon's 5th touchdown of the night. They came out tonight and they said, we are going to throw the football to win this football.
And poetry in motion, poetry in storytelling as well. Because Vernon Adams Jr. only matchup was 2023 against Toronto when he had a career worst 6 interceptions. I wonder whether or not he gets an opportunity to throw 6 touchdown passes for a Stampeders franchise record here tonight.
Clark Barnes with a huge move on the one-on-one on the outside. Good max protection, little play action fake, but no, all the way I'm going to the backside to take that. Look at the separation right there of Tavares McFadden. Second catch of the game, but a huge one. 63 yards and 5 touchdowns for this guy, Vernon Adams.
He might double the number on his chain there, his uniform number, by the time this thing is all said and done. And just like the start of the first half, start of the second felt smooth and easy for the Calgary Stampeders offense as they hammer it low once again at Isaiah Smith. And the coverage unit right there from the Calgary Stampeders. Looks like Godfrey Onyeka was down amongst the tacklers to make the play, and Chad Kelly comes back now trailing 36-18. And there's got to be a part of Chad that's going, I'm not playing all that poorly, but I'm getting doubled up by Vernon Adams Jr. right now.
Well, and they're, the Calgary's executing, staying on the field and making. That last drive was a 45-yard play and a 33-yard play. So 2 explosive football plays, and that's how it leads to scores. Explosive plays in the Canadian football.
Kelly looks left the whole way, pressure's on, but he somehow dances away and tries to use his legs once again. Field opens up and Chad slides down as Marco Lee completes the play. And Kelly up a little bit gingerly. But a gain of 13.
Good pressure. Hicks making an inside move, but good spot. Kelly climbs, gets the yardage for the push the ball for first.
Kelly with the extra protection in, plays the isolated receiver, Dave Unger, as Anthony Johnson's been getting plenty of work on this Thursday evening. This time it's Unger instead of DeMonte Coxie in a gain of 6. It'll be 2nd and 4.
Have an extra tight end in the game to help with protection. You can see the tight ends actually blocking the defensive ends before they release out on the route. Also gives Unger the ability to use his waggle and attack the line of scrimmage, get a little bit more softness, and get that quick out route.
This is how the Stampeders are always going to play on a short week. I think Dickinson might be wishing they got a couple more. Well, thankfully they do. 2 more times this season they will play on a short week, just like they are here after a win against the BC Lions. As Kelly trying to extend the play once again, gets hit, flag comes out, and down the field, it gets dropped into DeMonte Coxie. A great grab floating through the air. And Kelly got hit in the backfield as well. I think Clarence Hicks was the one that tracked him down as Chad introduces himself.
Flo Arimolade talked about this, about the ability.
Major foul, roughing the passer.
Of Chad Kelly.
We'll go up.
This throw's amazing. He just keeps making plays on the football field. So this Toronto Argonaut team is not going to panic right now. They're going to, hey, we got Chad Kelly. He's going to put us down. He's going to score a touchdown quickly, and we're going to climb back into this game. That's kind of, you always talk with your quarterbacks. Your job is to do one thing, is provide hope for 1, the fans, 2, your teammates, most importantly. And Chad Kelly does this. That was a great throw under duress and getting the 15-yard penalty after the fact.
Kelly came in with 10 carries for 38 yards and a touchdown. He is doubling down and then some on that here tonight using his legs. Now it'll be the legs of Dave Unger getting around the corner, gets a block out in front as well. And a good job, Lonnie Robinson and company being able to bring him down eventually. As looks like Kyle Wilson is down after being involved in this one.
Little misdirection, and the wider you keep going, you always think you have all that space, but the speed of the defensive backs, you can see it's hard to hold up on your blocks that long, and then it's also hard to get around and circle the defenses on the width of the field. So great stop by the DBs on the perimeter.
Dave Dickinson watches on with this sizable advantage midway through the 3rd quarter as Wilson came flying in to make the big play, struggling back onto his feet. We will step away as Wilson gets attended to and the Stampeders continue to lead. Back and forth we go. Chad Kelly and Vernon Adams Jr. You can see the look in VA's eyes right now. He is fully into it, immersed in the Stampede Bowl environment. He's got the energy going on. And obviously Pat Delmonico wants to keep him hot as possible with the play calling. So expect them to lean on VA increasingly as we continue in this 3rd quarter on a gorgeous night for CFL action.
And, you know, Chad Kelly does what he does, just brings his team right back down inside the 10-yard line on the road to give him a good opportunity to get right back into this game.
The tag on the 15 after that completion to DeMonte Coxie, and Clarence Hicks with the personal foul. And so from the 8, Chad looks to the right, has to escape once again and rips this one near the 5-yard line. And finally we get a chance to say Tyler Common's name as the Emporia State standout makes a grab.
Defensive coordinator Bob Sloak's got to be happy. Once again, pressure, nowhere to go with football, playing man coverage. Your pressure gets there. Now they're in a position where, hey, we force him to throw. We got a guy right there to make the play.
Going after it here on 3rd and 1. Kelly was standing back, then dives under center and plunges forward for a goal to go. Fresh set of downs for the Argonauts attack that, again, keep in mind, they've gone 30+ in every game they've played so far this year. Kelly's been throwing it up and down the field, as we said, on the season. Huge pace, and Mike Miller calling things in. You just know they want to stay aggressive, but now they really have no choice but to stay aggressive because of what Vernon Adams Jr. is doing.
Trying to keep up with the Stamps.
So from the 3-yard line, Kelly buckles up the helmet after taking a bit of a whap in short yardage. 5 receivers available. Looks right, quick throw, easy money, Mackay Polk. Very similar to a touchdown they had in the first half. And the Argonauts answer one again.
Option route. Mackay Polk goes up and just inside Damon Webb. In the space in the zone, sits down in the zone. Chad knew he was going to break in the whole time. Easy throw, good positioning by Mackay Polk, recognizing the zone and just sitting in the dead spot so Chad could get him the ball.
Going back to the 2-point well, here they will for the conversion. There's Domenico Piazza, first CFL start at center, snaps it back to Kelly, who fakes a toss and then rips it to the left on a slant, incomplete. And so 6 points is all the Double Blue get on this one. Calgary in control, but the Argonauts trying to climb their way back in with Chad Kelly to Mackay Polk for the major.
Second touchdown of the night from Mackay Polk. Both of them inside the 10-yard line. Early in the game, play man coverage, you better get tighter than that. Easy throw, pitch and catch, play zone, put somebody over him. You got to make sure you don't give up the inside. Damon Webb gives up the inside. Easy touchdown for Mackay Polk.
Chad Kelly's footwork on that last one just kind of looks like the like uncle that's at the throw around playing at the cottage on Canada long weekend. Maybe
it's so it's so short. You're just going to pick the ball up and get your hips ready to throw the football.
Yeah, he just flipped it out there to Mackay Polk, and again, easy read, easy throw, but a big payoff as Toronto dearly needed a little bit of momentum here. Now they trail by a dozen points, 36-24, with Liram Hairolahu staring down the football on the tee. And really no choice but to give it back to Vernon Adams Jr., which we've seen how that's turned out so far this evening. With the lights on at McMahon Stadium, could he make his way even higher up into the franchise history books as Tyreek McAllister turns it out to the 35-yard line? And Vernon Adams Jr., as we see where he stands currently and where he might be headed.
Great numbers, great crew of people to be with. 6 touchdowns. It might take 4 games for a lot of people over the years.
I gotta say, every time that we run one of these boards of Stampeders passing history, it's like Bo Levi Mitchell isn't even on that board. It's ridiculous how many incredible quarterbacks they've had over the years. And amazing to see that VA climbing his way up and having a big, memorable moment. As the officials waiting things out for just a second, I think it's the only thing that could slow down Vernon Adams Jr. so far tonight. And Ben Major, the referee, whistles it in. He goes back to work after Chad Kelly has a 7-play, 79-yard touchdown drive to Mackay Polk over 4 minutes. They'll begin with an easy screen pass. And underneath, it's Dedrick Mills, puts the shoulder down and runs through a pair of tacklers.
Dedrick Mills last week had 4 catches, over 40, I think 46 yards, his first career touchdown. This is a nice screen pass. As you see the lineman, you're going to see the lineman pull out as we go ahead and run this. And he's just going to pretend he's going to chip. And then you can see the lineman. His job is to get inside the lineman and get north-south as they go to kick out. Good lane, good blocking by the front side lineman. Give him an easy opportunity. See Backney Colney getting his first start. Does a good job kicking out.
Yeah,
Christy Nakanu right there. Good stuff.
Yeah, Cameron Judge caught some of the shrapnel of that collision from Dedrick Mills running through tacklers. So the training staff taking a look at him as Dedrick Mills, 8 carries for 29 yards, a long of just 9. But when you factor in a long of 11 and a couple of catches, he's starting to add up in the combined scrimmage yardage here this evening. And here's a look at Cameron Judge. You'll see him just on the right-hand side there, Lapo.
Oh, lowered the shoulder. Helmet to helmet right there.
They work things through with Cameron Judge, one of the standout Canadians playing on that weak side, and amidst all of the player movement after his time, whether it be Saskatchewan early on with the Calgary Stampeders, then on to Toronto. Just a super productive and reliable player who also is featured on special teams, as we've seen here tonight.
Yeah, and I had a talk with him before the game and talked about like kind of interesting, like The will linebacker on this team, the weak side linebacker and the strong side linebacker both played at UCLA. Darius Pick and Cameron Judge got to play together in college, and it's pretty neat that they're, now at this level playing together too.
A couple of younger players in the mix as well in that linebacking core as Judge onto his feet, which is great to see. But Derek Sluka, who was the standout free safety last year, moving in behind to Darius Pickett. He's a bit of a depth player at that nickel or extra linebacker defensive back. And then Darius McKenzie of the South Alabama, Ottawa native, taken in the 3rd round this year by the Argonauts, also active for this football game, as Judge, with the assistance of the training staff, will head to the tent and get a look. Here you see Sluka on the sideline.
Sluka had 2 huge against Ottawa. He had 2 huge returns last year.
Untouchable that night. As Vernon stretch run to the outside, trying to run their track in an attempted stiff arm, but Isaac Darkangelo wasn't having any of that. Gain of 4 on the play, but a bit of a different look that time up front from Stamps.
Yeah, if you watch Isaac Darkangelo, he just runs right to the sideline. Recognize this an outside zone play, and there's no opportunity to cut back, and he's right there to make the stop. Does a great job of running this down to the sideline.
And thanks to the work of Darkangelo, they bump it back to just a gain of 3, so 2nd and 7. Vernon trying to diagnose coverage as they empty it out. 4 by 2. And VA with a pump, and then over the middle again, running free, Jalen Philpott, and tackles at the 30-yard line.
Great protection here. And then what you're going to see is a deep dig to the middle of the field. And Vernon's got plenty of time because the defensive end, Ojo, he dropped out into coverage to cover the back. So there's plenty of time. Voided middle of the field for this 31-yard gain for Philpott. VAC in the pictures. And the pass rush not getting home because they're trying to double the back coming out of the backfield.
Mills taking plenty of attention. This time they'll blitz, and Mills will run away from it. Makes a move in the hole, and nice job coming downhill. Got just enough to Sean Amos. Was the one there, but a gain of 9, tying his longest of the ball game for Dedrick Mills on the ground.
Yeah, good run. Bounces it outside. No contained by the Argos defense. Recognizes the picture. Gets a nice 9-yard gain.
Don't you get the sense in that play before with Vernon where the most dangerous thing in the world is when he starts randomly pumping at things, you're going, oh no. Because he already knows where he's going. We don't know.
Yep.
Short yardage. Quincy Vaughn peels the right side of that protection. And VA getting closer with 2 minutes remaining in this 3rd quarter to potentially pitching his 6th touchdown pass of the ball game.
Best thing this team is doing is having Chad Kelly in offense sit on the sideline.
Absolutely.
So they are now 9. They've had 14 second downs, 9 for 14 converting. Staying on the field, making their plays, plus a bunch of explosive plays for touchdown.
4th score zone trip of this Thursday night football matchup as well for the Calgary Stampeders. They've got plenty of kicks at the can. They've made the most of pretty much all of them. Now Vernon thought about escaping out, bounces off his own running back, and then fades this one up for grabs and incomplete, looking for Tevin Jones. I was going to say, if he turns that one into magic, then we know something's happening.
I was a little worried. That was kind of a blind throw by Vernon. He felt pressure on the inside, spun around. There is some good push by the He doesn't like where he's going. He feels a little bit of the dent of the pocket. So now he starts scrambling. And I don't know. I think that's a blind throw to Tevin Jones. Gets protected right there because that could have been ugly.
It's that kind of night, though, where he looks up and sees red and it could have turned into another score. That's just his 4th incompletion of the ball game for Vernon Adams Jr. Takes the snap here against 5-man pressure, and off his back foot, fades it to Dejon Brissett in the back of the end zone. Incomplete, but flags fly.
Interference, Toronto number 18. The foul occurred in goal. It's going to be 1st down at the 1-yard line for Calgary.
One of the reasons you love in man coverage, you got Anthony Wilson right here drawing the foul, is you know you have man coverage. It may not be a perfect throw. put the ball in the end zone, give your player an opportunity for the one-on-one, especially when you know you have man, because this happens sometimes. You get a little bit too aggressive. Anthony didn't have to do that. The ball wasn't going to be completed, but you draw the penalty, put the ball first and goal at the 1.
Quincy Vaughn with a touchdown last week against the BC Lions as whistles blow. And we have a return of the McMahon Rabbit.
The McMahon Rabbit
standing on the University of Calgary shield in the end zone.
Stampede Bowl. He's excited.
I mean, just wants to watch. I don't blame him.
I think he wants to race Milt. I think that's what it is. He's like, where's Milt Stiegel? I can beat him.
He just wants to watch VA. I can't blame him. He's just sitting there attentively.
This is kind of interesting. We're just gonna sit here and watch a rabbit. Okay.
We've had the rabbit inside McMahon, you know, running to the end zone and scoring a touchdown to the great joy of the crowd. Now,
so we're running a play and he's still on the field.
Yeah,
okay, we'll keep an eye out.
Better hope they don't throw the fade here. Vaughn under center, plunges to the left-hand side, and Calgary extends their lead.
Vernon Adams has completed 82% of his passes at this point. He's on task. Seeing everything that Toronto's trying to change up what they're trying to do. He's seeing the field very well.
For what it's worth, the Rabbit saw everything he needed to and then retreated.
Watched it.
Yeah.
Impressed in the game and then left.
You said they scored again? Okay. All right. Vernon Adams Jr. came running off the sideline trying to usher the offense back into the huddle so they could go for 2. Playing the numbers game here, trying to go up by 20. Just took 8 plays for the Stamps to make their way down the field once again. Vernon keeps the football, finds Tevin Jones. Execution at an elite level from the Stampeders pivot tonight.
Motion down at the goal line creates some confusion. 2 players cover 1. Leaves Tevin Jones wide open in the back of the end zone. Vernon sees it, puts the ball right on the money. A little bit of zone read, pull it. 2 players jump the underneath, leave Tevin Jones.
And Quincy.
Nice. Quincy likes it.
One of the nicest guys in the CFL. Doing the dirty work and loving it. And he's enjoying watching Vernon Adams Jr., I think, as much as all of the Stampede Bowl fans here at McMahon tonight. You know, for a team on a short week, the Calgary Stampeders are pretty focused. Usually the short week team is a little bit more tired. They get tired more later as the game goes on. This is a focused and ready team to go. 68 points in the ball game. You almost wonder whether or not extra credit needs to go to Dave Dickinson for his mentality approach, the way he set the table on the week for them. Or is it just the players responding to the moment?
I think, you know, I think the more this group's together, the more time, like Vernon, like they're finding different ways to win. It doesn't have to be always running the football, as tonight shows.
And Sebastian Parcelidis, the fullback from Wilfrid Laurier, young rookie, picked it up on the bounce, and a 20-point advantage at the end of the 3rd quarter for the Calgary Stampeders. In control, headed to the 4th. But the always dangerous Argonauts passing attack lingers large as VA tries to close the door and go to back-to-back victories for the first time this season. Calgary's first game against the East Division so far this year in 2026. I think they're liking the way this is shaping up. 44 points as we head to the 4th quarter, 394 passing yards already for Vernon Adams Jr. Toronto just can't get him off the field, but strangely the time of possession isn't that different.
Yeah, because there's been a couple of big plays.
Yeah.
You know, there's a 2-play drive that were a 40-yard pass and a 30-yard pass to Devin Jones's touchdown right before the half. So they've got some huge explosive plays, but the Toronto defense has got to help this guy out. They got to get some stops. They got to get a takeaway. This is the team with the most takeaways in the CFL, but they've got to create any type of momentum in this quarter to slow Vernon and company down to get more opportunities for Chad with the football. I mean, Chad's got 70% completion,
right?
250 yards, 2 TDs.
And such is the environment so far in 2026 in the CFL. Is a quick little pass out to Hicks is complete. There's a flag up as well for a hit on Chad Kelly at the end of the play. So tag that on, and another flag on the tackle. So they'll have to clean up multiple infractions on this one. But I was just about to say, Lapo, at the start of 2026, you're completing 70% of your passes. You're up around 400 yards. Well, the other guy's better.
Right.
Like, it's ridiculous.
Well, the whole league's that way, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes 68% in the CFL used to lead the CFL, you know, in the early 2000s. Now it's like the worst in the CFL.
As Dickinson gets a quick
There's 2 major
look.
fouls against Calgary. Roughing the passer, number 1. Face mask, number 44. We'll go up 30 yards from the end of the play. It's going to be first down for Toronto.
So you just don't want to do that push at the end, and then you can see that face mask at the end of that. And there's your 2 penalties, which is huge numbers and huge yardage on a great gain on the screen pass to slow the rush down.
And Clarence Hicks, the second time he's taken the roughing the passer penalty by just shoving Chad at the end of the play. Right?
You just don't push him down. Now the ball's sitting here. Now the ball's at the 16-yard line.
Huge swing.
This is exactly what the Toronto Argonauts need.
A little screen pass that goes for 60 yards. That's like Justin Rankin stuff. But it happens through penalties on this play. As Parsalidis, the fullback, in and loops around Kelly. Quick play action, looks to the outside. Chad leans into this one to Dave Unger. Right on the doorstep of the goal line, and a touchdown for the Argonauts. 16-yard touchdown pass to Dave Unger.
Take your one-on-one on the outside. Great trust. Puts it in a spot where only Unger can catch it. And this is a big, look at this. There's a lot of guys. You have extra people in the line of scrimmage. You have 2 backs in the backfield. This is not going to be a run play, though. You knew it. This is expert protection, so I can throw the ball downfield, take the one-on-one throw. Good concentration by David Unger for the touchdown, and great location by Chad Kelly.
They go for 2 once again. Yeah, you're right. When you see Jack Cassar is in there,
no,
Sebastian
they're throwing the ball.
Parsalidis.
Come on.
You're like, come on, you're not fooling anybody. Just had to win the one-on-one, and Unger did. They go for 2. And Kelly, once again, play fake and then gets it outside. Wonderful defense from the Stampeders on Kevin Mittal as Damon Webb down from the free safety spot and holds him shy of the 2-point conversion.
Having to chase across the field is not an easy thing. You got to go all the way across the field, pick up that guy going behind the line of scrimmage, and make the tackle. Damon Webb with a great spot. Here's the one-on-one. Heavy protection. Get as many people in, and then just take a one-on-one through. Quarterback doesn't have to read a lot. It's just a throw on the outside, one-on-one. Great throw on Delaney Robinson going after the rookie. Good call by Mike Miller. Said, hey, we got a young guy in, not a lot of starts. Let's go attack him.
53 seconds, and the big flip in field position, obviously, due to the screen pass game, roughing the passer, and then the face mask on Anthony Johnson at the end of the play. So they immediately take advantage. And you could kind of see that look at Chad Kelly as well when he was kind of dapping up his offensive line after that touchdown pass to Unger. That it was kind of like, yeah, that's 1. It was like, guys, we're going to need like 3,
now
4.
We're at 74 points on the first game of the week. Awesome. Nothing better.
Setting the standard high. Canada Day long weekend. Great matchups to follow. But this one, a shootout. And we had a conversation this week as well with Dave Dickinson about the level of quarterback play, just how high it is, and when was the last time that it was at this kind of level in his eyes. He was saying early 90s a little bit, and then 96 as well after American expansion. As this kick is going to go out of bounds and immediately help the Calgary Stampeders as VA comes back on. But
illegal kickoff
the level of quarterback play, you asked Dave about this and some of the names he brought up.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting at the expansion. Look at that for Vernon. Most 300-yard games versus the Argonauts is the most. Obviously, you see some of the Rough Rider times. Yep. That'll be his 7th career if he hits it tonight, which I'm sure he will. Now, it's interesting when Dave talked about that. We brought up 2004, how many guys were in the league. Dave was a starter in the league. Damon Allen was a starter in the league. Anthony Calvillo, Danny McManus, Kevin Glenn. I don't think who else was in that crew of quarterbacks. It was just and that's what's happening right now with the quarterbacks in the CFL with the veterans.
VA on an out route to the field and off the hands of Jalen Philpott. A flag flies in the backfield, though. I think Chatfield might have got a piece of Vernon after the release.
A little bit of pressure here as you
roughing the passer. Toronto
see Chatfield wins on the inside. Just a little bit late with the ball going out. Draws the penalty.
He got more than a piece. Got his 15 yards worth. So into Toronto territory at the 45. Fresh set of downs. And the Toronto defense has got to be wondering, what can we do to slow this downhill roll? This time it'll be Dedrick Mills right down the hash. And a first down on first down. And a gain of 12, his longest of the evening.
Great call by offensive coordinator Pat Delmonico on the draw play. Get everybody rushing upfield. Let the pass rush go and let the back find a crease. You can see them just saying, Ralph Hawley, we can't block you. We're going to let you rush upfield. Everybody's expanded the box to play pass. Give it inside to your thick back. There's Pat Delmonico making the calls tonight.
Calgary this time puts a whole bunch of receivers into the short side of the field. They'll hand it off once again as Mills spins off contact and right down the same hash. Just different ways to get to the same point this time around. But Mills, this is when he usually starts to heat up in the fourth quarter with bodies worn down.
Quincy Vaughn helping out a little bit. You see him kicking out. Dedrick Mills with great balance to get north-south and get that extra carry. And sometimes when you don't get a lot of carries in the game and those running backs start getting the couple of carries, they just keep their legs driving. They just say, hey, you can keep feeding me the football. I'm going to keep making plays. You'll want that. Run the clock down. Don't give Toronto time with the ball.
That interior of Zach Williams, Chris Fortin, and Christian Kanu working right now as Dedrick Mills gains momentum. And that'll be another first down.
And at this point, with a 14-point lead, you're in field goal range. Every opportunity to snap this ball, you would be what we would call, the terminology is turtle. Like you're in a situation where snap the ball with 2 to 3 seconds left. Take as much time off every snap the rest of the game to prevent opportunities for Toronto. So that situational football should be happening here, watching the clock run all the way down.
And Vernon, you can tell, kind of trying to balance that turtle mentality alongside getting in and out of the huddle and having tempo as they send full blitz this time, and Mills makes the first man miss, but Toronto came after it and timed it wonderfully on that snap.
Yeah, and this is going to happen sometimes when you have blitzers off the perimeter. And you can see Owen Goss is coming off this front side edge, and he just stops the back in his place, and then everybody else is showing up. You have to sometimes either have passes built into that to protect that, or you got to be better on the perimeter. The receivers didn't do a good job protecting that edge.
Jean Brissett, I think, took a big blow on the edge, but stays in here on 2nd and 11 after the loss. Vernon with pressure, rolls to his right, pumps, takes off, uses the legs, nobody's looking at him. And Vernon Adams Jr. will score, this time with the legs. 22 yards. If you thought the fireworks ran out after the Canada Day celebrations yesterday, you were wrong.
I guess this doesn't count as 6 touchdowns, but it's 5-1 now. It's man coverage. One of the few snaps of man coverage all game. And watch as Vernon releases. He can't find anybody, but when he starts to scramble, there's nobody left on the field. There's nobody assigned to him. and the rushers can't get to him in the pass rush, so he sees it, recognizes the man, and walks in for the touchdown.
The extra point is good.
50-burger, Marshall.
The Stamps might have to up the fireworks budget for the rest of the season if the offense is going to look anything like this. What a night for Vernon Adams Jr. There is Vernon Adams Jr., whether it's through the air or on the ground. He has been lighting it up to the point where we're not sure where Quick Six, the touchdown celebrating horse, went here at McMahon.
I think a 50-burger is not in the contract.
That's the limit.
Like, listen, I'm not, once 50 points are up, I'm not going around again.
Load management?
Maybe,
management, right? I mean, you don't want to, there's more of a season to be played. You can't tire the horse out.
Right, the horse says, hey, I'm only, after 35 points, you got to get somebody else in here.
That horse has got a heck of an agent.
Don't we have a second-string horse, right?
Yeah, roll in the backups. It's a pony.
Vernon's got 394 yards, 6 more yards. He will get 400.
51-30. Sensational stuff from the Stampeders offense here tonight as Janarian Grant spins away from the first wave and gets wrapped up and brought down. Ojutalayo makes another special teams tackle. He had 4 in the game last week against BC and tagged on a couple more on top of that one tonight.
Yeah, Laomi, like I know last year or last spring when he was drafted, everybody in the Stampeders organization said this kid's going to be a great special teams player for us. And we're going to develop him as a receiver, but he's going to do great things on special teams. Like you said, 4 special teams tackles last week and a nice tackle on Janarian Grant right there.
An elite special teamer at Wilfrid Laurier. They worked him in as a receiver, so he's got potential, but right now doing the work on specials here in the pros. As Kelly rolls to the right and looking deep to short. Ultimate aggression at all times, especially trailing by 21. Again, the largest lead for the Stampeders this season was against BC, plus 21 last week, and they're right back there this time around.
Yeah, and part of this Toronto offense, and Chad likes to throw the deep ball. This was going to be like an 18-yard out. And just sooner or later, the protection is going to break down. You see Clarence Hicks getting there. Fullerin was showing up, and then he has to scramble and move off his launch point. So some of these deeper passes hurting the protection and making him move off his spot.
Kelly with a blitz coming, gets it away and intercepted. Picked off by the Stampeders. When it rains, it pours for the double blue and running free through the secondary. All the way down inside the 10. It's his second of the night for Zai Alexander.
Pretty average interception by Zai Alexander after the one-handed grab he had. Be in the right place at the right time. As Kelly climbs the pocket, he's trying to throw over the top of the linebacker. You can see he throws it a little bit high, but it ends up behind Mattel. Zai's in the right spot. Good return here for his second interception of the night.
Stampeders 4 for 4 inside the score zone as Alexander, rightfully so, celebrates a multiple interception ball game here at home in the Stampede Bowl. And now Vernon Adams Jr. looks to punctuate another drive. Bobbles the snap, has to try and get away, pressure on, shovels it left-handed, and that's number 6. Magic from VA.
Off-schedule plays, the ball gets bobbled. He's now trying to climb the pocket. He sees Deshaun Brissett and then makes an amazing check down to him for the touchdown. And the one thing I want to say right here, this game is out of hand, 21 points. Dave Dickinson puts his starting quarterback in and calls a pass play, knowing he's 4 yards away from that record of, getting 400 on the game, right? So that's his 400. That's his 7th career 400-yard gain. So hats off to Dave to try to get him to that opportunity for the record.
It's a great point, Lapo. The confidence in him, the connection that they've developed over the last year and a bit. And for VA, most touchdown passes he's had since 2015 with the Oregon Ducks against USC in a 48-28 win. This one even larger for the Stamps.
Oregon.
The fireworks are gone. That's why you see zero smoke hanging over McMahon Stadium.
Ran out of fireworks. Quick six is nowhere to be seen. Vernon Adams, 6 touchdown passes, ties this huge record, plus a rushing touchdown. What an amazing night. 7 scores for Vernon Adams. They're even, I think they're trying to wrangle up that rabbit to see if the rabbit could run around the stadium after a score.
My fault, I've been alerted. It was a hare. Sorry. Genus, species, it's on me. I apologize. But, I mean, Vernon Adams Jr., the thing that I love is he goes all the way down the bench during that commercial break after throwing his 6th touchdown pass. Not just high-fiving everybody on the team, hugging everybody down the bench. Whether you're in uniform, you're in sweats, you're a coach.
I don't expect him to get back in this ball game. But for Vernon Adams, not only did he have 7 touchdowns tonight, he continues his streak. He has not thrown an interception for the season. And that was something that people used to say, you know what, Vernon makes these awesome plays all the time, but sometimes he'd make a terrible decision, or you'd be like, why did he throw the ball there? So on top of, locating the football, being great with the ball, now he's also protecting the ball. That's what got Dave Dickinson so excited about the start of this football season.
I remember having a Zoom call with him last year, late in the season, where he was almost despondent at the way that the season had fallen apart because of some of those poorly timed interceptions, as Anthony Johnson almost took one to the house. But there was a point at the end of last year where he was incredibly frustrated as a flag is down behind the play at the way things had gone in his first year in Calgary, because I think he thought it was a match made in heaven. And I think it just took an extra year for him to grow into this role with this team and actually really understand what Dave wants.
And it's really hard, like for all these organizations that are flipping over and having a new quarterback, it takes more than just a quarterback. You got to get your defensive line. Your defense got to play the way the game's got to be played and take the football away and stop explosives. So,
there's 2 misconduct fouls on the play. Toronto 68, Calgary 58. We're going to go back 5 yards. It's going to be 2nd down.
Desmond Bland drew that.
Back and forth with Sean Peterson Jr. I've been alerted, by the way, that VA and CFL Fantasy has been good for 48 points tonight.
Not bad.
Yeah. One-man wrecking crew. And the Argos have still scored 30-plus like every game this year as Clarence Hicks gives chase. And finally, Hicks, after taking a couple of late shots, gets a clean one on Chad Kelly.
I think this is going to be intentional grounding.
Yeah. Behind the line of scrimmage.
It looked like intentional grounding, unless they're going to say it's
intentional
a late hit.
grounding.
Yeah.
Toronto number 12. It's a loss of down. It's going to be 3rd down.
So as he scrambles off to the right, I mean, there's a back there, but there's no shot of where he's thrown this close to the back. So hats off to the pass rush of the Calgary Stampeders tonight. It's just been phenomenal. Early in the game, they made the adjustments. They were losing contain, giving Chad opportunities to throw the ball downfield. Second half, been spectacular.
And feeding off the energy from the offense clearly here at home, as well as the huge Argo bounce. Will drive McAllister all the way back inside his 20 before he loses an edge and takes a seat. And Vernon Adams Jr., he looks like he's ready to return back to the field with a massive lead here at home. CFL is back with Friday Night Football as the Rough Riders take on the Red Blacks. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Catch all the action on TSN with Friday Night Football. Should be a good one in the nation's capital. Saskatchewan trying to get back in the win column after a loss to the Toronto Argonauts. And then, of course, back in Kelowna on Saturday, it's the Elks. Those pesky Elks with that 0 in the loss column against the BC Lions, who have not won a game so far this year. That could be an interesting story. And then Winnipeg and Hamilton round things down from the Hammer. It will be the Blue Bombers looking to get things back on track. Vernon Adams Jr. is still in the football game as Dietrich Mills gets the carry. And Country Roads rings out around McMahon Stadium in the Stampede Bowl, decisively going the way of the red and white.
Big John Denver fans here in Calgary. Great crowd tonight, enjoying Stampede. A lot of cowboy hats we saw. Surprise Vernon still in here with a 28-point lead.
Well, our stats man Dave Moyer just let me know the CFL record is Joe Zuger with 8. But trying to get the franchise record with 7 maybe is fades it to the outside, and this one bounces off the hands incomplete of Jalen Philpott. And Dave Dickinson fired up asking for a penalty.
That's 7 yards.
The punting unit will come out. We haven't said that very often tonight for the Stampeders for obvious reasons.
Dave Dickinson wants an illegal contact. Contact. So the contact happened past 5 yards.
Janarian Grant catches the 51-yard punt.
Great punt. Put it where only Janarian can catch it, right on the sideline and run out of bounds.
It turns out that Mark Vassett's been bored standing on the sideline and decided to boom one. And Nick Arbuckle into the ball game, so Chad Kelly will get the remainder of Thursday night football in week 5 off. And again, not a bad night overall from Chad Kelly, but Nick Arbuckle, again last year, in place of Chad Kelly, putting up massive numbers for the Ryan Dinwiddie at that point led Toronto Argonauts offense. And it looks like Kemp, the right tackle, jumped out of his stance a little quickly here.
Procedure, Toronto number 61, 5-yard penalty, will replay first down.
Got a new center in Desmond Piazza as the Castro's moved over with Dakota Shepley being out. Some of these cadences maybe, or the timing of the snap and the cadence may be off a little bit. And another flag.
And Kevin Mittal very gently asking for it to be against Calgary.
We got a misconduct penalty. Calgary number 96 will go up 10 yards. It's still first down.
Jalen Hutchins, probably a little bit of a conversation that he doesn't need to have. And he's leaving the game. Taking him out.
You were geeking out watching him on film this week.
He was like, you know, you talk to the coaches about him. He's undersized. They say he's 6 feet. There's no way he's 6 feet. But he is an immovable object in there. And they just said he's a high character player.
Toronto goes to the ground game as the clock rolls. And Sam Hicks adds to his tally on the day across the 55-yard line. And we see Zy Alexander, who has the 2 interceptions, coming up a little bit weak in the lower body after that snap.
And what I love about, like, as I'm watching this defense play at the end of the game, Vernon Adams got his helmet off. He's the biggest cheerleader for this defense right now, cheering on the guys. And when you talked about Vernon coming to this building last year, everybody talked about his energy. Like, it's infectious. We love when he shows up in the building, everybody's ready to go.
Arbuckle, the veteran, rips it to the wide side, but seeing him on the bench with that shot specifically reminds me of last year when they were at home against the BC Lions, Lapo, and he threw a couple of bad interceptions in the first quarter and ended up getting removed from the game. It was PJ Walker came in, he got hurt, Quincy Vaughn got dinged in that game. It was just a terrible night for the Stampeders, but it all began with what you were talking about, which was the untimely Vernon Adams Jr. interception that set the tone for the entire football game. If he's going to remove those and make miraculous plays with his feet and smart decisions with his arm, Calgary is set up for a great year. As Unger makes another grab.
Good throw on the outside. And I talked about it with Chad Kelly. No different from Vernon Adams. The quarterback's #1 job is to provide hope to the organization. And at the moment when he was signed, everybody in the building said, hey, this is a guy that we can believe in. This is a guy who's going to lead us to wins. Hey, when we get down by 2 scores, we trust this guy's going to bring us back. And that's what you need to do at the quarterback position for the fans, and more importantly for your teammates.
And Arbuckle trying to give a little bit of positive momentum for the Argonauts going forward here as well. As flags fly, and this play never happened.
Come on, big bro.
Nick going on a hard.
Offside, Toronto number 10. 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
So these are some of the mental errors. Nick went on a hard count, which means he went on 2. So we enunciated the first one, and on the second one, the receivers didn't know it was on 2, or they just didn't get their waggle timed up right. Penalties you take.
Josh Love, the backup quarterback, warming on the sidelines for the Calgary Stampeders. So
it's good to hear.
Yeah, fully expect that Vernon has been shut down for the remainder of the night, rightfully so. They gave him the chance to come in and make some history, but he will tie the franchise record. It looks like with those 6 touchdown passes. As big hit on Arbuckle coming from in behind that time. Never saw it coming. And it throws off Nick's pitch. As we've hit the 3-minute warning, 28-point advantage for the dominant Calgary Stampeders here at home in the Stampede Bowl. The 2026 FIFA World Cup round of 32 continues tomorrow. They're still doing 32. Canada's already in 16. Australia takes on Egypt at 2 p.m. Eastern, followed by Argentina versus Cabo Verde at 6 Eastern. Then at 9:30 Eastern, Colombia plays Ghana. Catch all the action on TSN. Ronaldo scored in Toronto in a 2-1 victory.
2-1 victory, yeah.
I'm sure there's not any crazy parties going on with Sagres all over the GTA currently. They were following Ronaldo around everywhere on the training pitch, Centennial Park, and all the rest in Toronto. Is Arbuckle. Nice rip this time, right to the first down marker. And we'll see where they spot it, but a nice throw from the previous journeyman who settled in nicely here to Toronto in the role that he has been assigned.
As we sit here and look at a 58 points sitting here for the Stampeders, one thing I'm thinking about, Marshall, is with 58 points for Calgary, there's not a single point on defense, right? It's touchdowns by the offense. So there's no, usually when it's 58 points, there's a pick 6, there's a punt return touchdown. These are all offensive points and no field goals. Just an outstanding offensive performance tonight by the Calgary Stampeders.
It is wild when you just go through, like, I mean, Tevin Jones, 4 catches, 139 yards. Basically everybody is above 50 yards receiving on both sides of the ledger, as Dave Unger just had his 9th catch for 88 yards on the game. DeMonte Coxey just 2 yards away from 100 yards receiving is the benchmark that so many receivers kind of judge a big game by.
Dedrick Mills again, 66 yards. So 2 games in a row, it's not close to his numbers, but they still get the win and put up a lot of points. So they're proving they don't just have to run the football.
Arbuckle on 2nd and 7. Underneath. And that will be a yard or 2 shy of the sticks, but seems like the Argonauts have found a nice player in young Sam Hicks out of the backfield, multi-purpose.
Be hard for, Sam Hicks is going to get some carries, but systematically when they're going to throw the football this much, get in Chad's hands, be hard for him to get a lot of carries throughout the week. But he has, we talked about the top. For Sam Hicks to come into this organization, like last week, he had, I think the second play of the game was a 60-yard run for him. Last year, they were the worst in the Canadian Football League, barely 50 yards rushing per game, but they're already up to averaging almost 95 yards rushing a game. So Sam Hicks has, they've got the ability when they want to run the football. Maybe tonight was a little different with Desmond Piazza and Peter Castro in different spots, but I think they can get a little bit more physical when they get Dakota Shepley back and keep making Sam Hicks part of the process.
Arbuckle in the short yardage package gets the first down. And pressure coming from Arimolade as Arbuckle had to get rid of it, did all the work. And Common couldn't hang on to it.
Benny Sapp getting a nice knock on the ball. After 1 week, get in there.
And Falarin Arimolade off the edge, talking to us this week about just the load that it takes to actually play all the way deep into a game. Well, here he is late in the 4th quarter and still firing off the football, which you got to think is positive momentum for the way his season will trend as well.
Talk to him about being the only player from the Ivy League left in the Canadian Football League, a Dartmouth grad.
He has plenty of support from the guys that he played with And University has Arbuckle down the field into the end zone. Wonderfully placed football and a great catch by DeMonte Coxie. It won't mean anything in terms of wins and losses, but what a connection that was, and one we saw plenty in 2025.
The location of this ball is amazing by Nick. Leaves it out there, and then Coxie's got to leave his feet to make this catch. Great concentration. Sees the one-on-one on the outside. Jumps outside. A little bit of push hand play right there, and then runs by. But this is good. Watch his concentration to tip it back to himself for the touchdown. Great location. Great play by Coxie.
Thank you, sir. And we said with Chad Kelly out of the ball game that they needed to find a little bit of positive momentum, something they could hang their hat on the journey home, and the missed extra point won't help with that, but certainly DeMonte Coxie giving hope to the fact that the Argonauts can hang a bunch of points on anybody. They just got to find a way to stop someone.
94 points right now for this game. Great location. Great hand-eye coordination, concentration. Look at that. Pull it right back in. Secure the ball inside the elbows. It's great high point. Great play.
5th year in the CFL, 5th year with the Toronto Argonauts. How many times have we seen number 86 down that right rail showing off the ball skills?
At 6'3", that's what you want. A big, rangy guy you can just spot the ball to, let him go make the play.
Try that, coach. Isaiah.
Still love going down to the sidelines pregame to watch the CFL guys, because sometimes it's like, yeah, I've seen DeMonte Coxie like dozens of times. It's not a big deal. I'm usually in the booth up here, and you go down and you see him at the field, you go, you're a monster.
Way bigger than
you're
you
huge. Yeah. It's like 6'3" with those massive arms, long reach, lanky legs. It's like, okay, I get it now when I see catches like that.
Kevin Mattel's another one. You're
right.
Like, that's a big, thick, physical guy.
I was thinking about that in Ottawa, Montreal Sunday night with Daniel Adeboboye. You just go, man, that is a incredibly built athlete. And there's so many of them in the CFL. You just got to see them live to understand how special these guys are. The onside group with Liram Hairolahu ready to put it back into play. Dejon Brissett, the former Argonaut, waiting back. It won't make it there, and it's Brooks as the ball is loose. Flags out. It hung up in the air, nicely placed by Liram Hairolahu, and Mickey Donovan, special teams coordinator, asking for some clarification.
See Brooksy trying to go up and get this. Let's see what this call is going to be.
And did Mittal just catch him up high as he came swinging through looking for the football? Looked like he
Have a major foul roughing, Toronto number 10.
Blow to the head.
Since Toronto recovered, we'll go back 15 yards and re-kick.
And say it's a blow to the head. That roughing comes from a Mittal hits him in the head.
15th penalty against the Toronto Argonauts for 134 yards in the football game. Both coaches focused on minimizing some of the unnecessary penalties. That one obviously tough for Kevin Mittal. He's going for the football.
How about Eric Brooks? That's pretty good ups for a 5'7" receiver going up and getting that ball. And then he gets hit in the head.
Right. Pays the price for it.
Yeah, crazy penalty number right there. 15 for 134.
Yeah, I give all the credit to the 6'3" lanky guy, and you're right, Lapo, to highlight 5'7" and probably a 40-inch vert.
Right. And they're taking him out. Put Tevin Jones in at 6'3".
I wonder if injury spotter might have factored into that one.
Say, hey, we don't need you. We can get somebody else to do that.
So Hairolahu will try to hang it high once again, and Kevin Mittal will give chase once again. hoping to create a 50-50 situation. This time, he skulls it, and it bounces off. The Stampeders rolling around, and they blew it dead.
Still out.
But it was still out and loose. They say now Calgary has recovered. Yeah, signaling. Or no, they're saying Toronto football. Yeah, at the bottom of the pile. So after all of that, the ball was still loose, but I guess after that whistle, they clarified that it was Toronto possession.
Ball kept. Yeah, you always want to. You're always telling your officials, hold the whistle as long as you can.
Yeah, the whistle blew when Calgary was on. It looked like Deshaun Brissett was at the bottom, but then he lost it. And as play continued, Toronto was on the football.
Yeah, the ball was never recovered.
No clarification on the inadvertent whistle, I guess, but regardless, we saw it. We understand.
Well, you know, certainly fumbles can happen when a whistle happens. Instant replay can overrule a whistle on the field if it's instantaneous and happens right away. So you're always taught your players play through whistles.
Great kick by Hairolahu as well.
Two great kicks. Yeah, Laram puts him in a position to get both of those onside kicks. A lot of times you see guys kick it out of bounds or don't kick it 10 yards. So Laram execution on the onside kick was excellent.
And a lot of times you think, oh, you just pop it in the air and it has to go the perfect. No, there's like 17 approaches for guys like Laram that they can, as flags fly, blowing this play dead. But
once again, pre-snap. But good reps.
Procedure, everybody except the center. We'll go back 5 yards. Still second down.
It's interesting right there, calling everybody out but the center, or calling the center out. But Desmond Piazza, right? Well, unfortunately, I guess he doesn't know the cadence because everybody else did.
Yeah, Domenico Piazza
like,
was...
Hey, was this really on one? Oh, I'm sorry, guys. But these are great reps for Desmond Piazza, you know, the first-year player to get some reps in the game.
McGill products. A lot of people believe he's got a high ceiling. His nice outside juke that time away from the would-be tacklers, DeMonte Coxie.
Yeah, he was drafted by the Elks and then released by them in June. Went back to school last year.
Micah Tights giving chase at the end of that play on DeMonte Coxie, who bumps his total even higher in the ball game, up now to 6 catches for 127. And stunningly, Calgary only has 2 more first downs in this football game than Toronto, in large part due to the fourth quarter numbers. And they'll add to their net yardage as well for the Argonauts with Arbuckle and great open field moves by Sam Hicks.
Spectacular run by Sam Hicks. Nick Arbuckle doing great things, checking it down, seeing the picture inside. Then he goes, all right, I got the check down. Get in Sam Hicks' hands, let him make some people miss. Stay back on the field, keep going to the next play.
Clock rolling. Pass rush off the edge, and Sean Peterson Jr. looked like he just bent the edge enough that time to get around on Brandon Kemp and cause a little bit of discomfort for Nick Arbuckle. And the Calgary Stampeders will get their back-to-back wished-for victories here as they become a real threat, especially when you consider how close the games were that they had at the start of the season. Could have been 3-0. Instead, they came into this one with just last week's victory, 1-2. Balanced the sheet at 2-2 now as Arbuckle, nice sleight of hand, slid that one out of the right palm and completes again to Coxie, whose numbers are going to be just huge by the end of this one because of garbage time. But the Stampeders feel like they can play with anybody, not just relying on Vernon Adams Jr. to create all sorts of magic like he did tonight.
Well, and when you talked about the West, you thought about, like, you know, every team's got the abilities. You know, we did see the struggles of the BC Lions to start the season, and now you start to see everybody's starting to say, all right, like we can all finish first in the league. We're in this point. So, you know, Dave Dickinson just said, hey, we like our team. We had some close losses. We've gone over to Winnipeg a couple of years ago and won by a field goal and lost by a field goal. Some of those close battles against a really good team are going to happen. We have a good football team.
Arbuckle once again to Coxie. Turns the corner and gets wrapped up just inside the 20. And 900 yards, essentially, of total offense between these two clubs. And could we cross the dollar bill?
Toronto's got 466 yards in net offense as we speak right now. Calgary's got 496.
But 466 and sitting here trailing by this amount just goes to show how out of their mind the Calgary offense was tonight in the Stampede Bowl. Arbuckle tries to tag another one on at the end. Rips it to Coxie, and it's knocked out of bounds, incomplete. As photographer takes a pop on the sideline there, and thankfully up onto his feet. But that man had one to remember tonight. Write it down. He'll remember it forever. Week 5 in the 2026 CFL season, Thursday night football. I think Chad Kelly will remember the night that VA went for 6 and 1 on the ground as well.
Calgary Stampeders proving that they can do whatever it takes to win a football game, whether they put the ball in the air or on the ground. They're protecting the football. They're getting better on defense. Look out for the Stampeders, and certainly VA. Hats off to VA, guy who's really, you know, a couple of teams have said we're going to walk away from this guy. Calgary said this is our guy of the future. Huge 5 touchdowns, 1 rushing tonight. Unbelievable.
They did have more fireworks. They set them off at the end of the game.
Well, they had to save them for the end of the game, Marshall. Hey, hold them off. We still got some left.
It was that kind of night. Saskatchewan, Ottawa, Friday night football. Looking forward to that in the nation's capital. And a great slate for the remainder of week number 5 in the Canadian Football League as well. But it was Vernon Adams Jr. night. Could not be stopped. Right hand, feet, left hand, didn't matter. The Stampeders roll in the second Stampede Bowl here in Calgary.